What's up? What's up, Skippy? Had to clear my throat. You mean like your poop? Is that what you mean by gets things moving? That's what I assume people mean when they say gets things moving. Okay. Oh, Christ. I think I've spilled oil somewhere, but I can't find it. Gosh darn it. All right. Well, holy crap. Sorry for the tardiness. Hello, hello. Hello, Puppet. Hello, Puppet. So, I think it goes without saying that if you've seen the title to today's live stream, then you probably already know what's gonna happen. This is gonna be maybe a boring stream for those of you who are avid watchers. It's really just a very simple stream. I really just wanted to get an idea out there of how this sort of stuff works. I'm Goose, first of all. What's up? And if you're so inclined, I would urge you to say what's up too. Today is Thursday. It's the day before Friday. It's the stream's Friday. And today we're going to learn a little bit about what it takes to, We're going to talk about what it takes to pitch a creative work. I haven't checked out these videos, but I assume that they're educational. But I just wanted to find a resource so that I'm not just sitting here telling you... I mean, obviously... Shut up! I am going to tell you my experience with pitching things, but I think that it's also going to be much more useful in general to point out sort of what experts are saying on the subject. I am just going to let this play, because I just have to finish feeding my dogs. Finish feeding the dogs. Tuning in like Goose is getting tired of my antics. He needs more special people in here. I need just anyone, really. Skippy, you're doing your part. That's helpful. All right, I'm gonna play this, and then I'm gonna drop some food in my dog's bowl, and then I will be right back. So just let it play, and then tell me what you learned when I come back. All right? Give me a moment.
Successfully pitching an idea, well, it's something kind of unexpected. It's FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Sorry, it's a very short video, so I don't need to speed it up. All right,
Someone
give me a moment.
Invest in companies early in their journey. I listen to nearly 2,000 pitches a year, and I work countless hours with company founders to help them make their pitch even more compelling. You may equate pitching with a slick deck based on some standard format, but whether you're pitching a company or trying to get buy-in for a passion project at work, so much of pitching is a storytelling exercise. You need to bring people along with you. You need to tell your audience a story that not only will draw them in, but it will make them feel that if they don't say yes, they will be missing out on something really big. When people think about pitching, they're thinking inwards. They think about their nerves, how smoothly they're talking, or what it takes to get to a yes. But the secret of successful pitching is to flip it outward. Who are you pitching to? What do they care about? How can you speak to what motivates them? For example, if you're pitching your startup idea to a venture capitalist who has lots of money to invest and needs big returns, they probably care about backing the next Uber or DoorDash. So you should focus your story on the size of the market opportunity. If you're pitching to a philanthropist or a nonprofit, their motivation is likely about large social impact. So focus on showing how your product or idea will improve things in a lasting way. If you're pitching a project at work, focus on the people you're pitching the project to. What do they care about? More customer loyalty, more revenue, or perhaps a promotion? Tell them how your project will help them attain the goal that they want in a way that makes it almost inevitable. Give them that feeling of, if I don't support this, I'm going to miss out on something I care about deeply. Pitching is much like telling a story, just like a movie tells a story. You're charting the hero's journey in 3 acts. First, you start by telling about the hero's world, the status quo. In this case, the current situation that your product, idea, or service will be addressing. Then, introduce tension and conflict, showing all the problems that existing products aren't yet addressing. This will lead you to the big confrontation. You, the hero, sweeping in to save the day. And from there, give the resolution. How are things changed as a result of your actions? How does your product, idea, or service solve the problems you highlighted earlier? One of the best...
So this is more generic, like a more generic idea of how to sell an idea, but it more generic idea of how to sell an idea. Gosh darn, you know the redundancy. If you're a fellow pedant like me, then gosh darn it, your senses are tingling. I am just gonna start this over again because I have not watched it. I don't know why I played it without listening to it. Give me a second.
And I work
Let me catch up.
countless hours with company founders to help them make their pitch even more compelling. You may equate pitching with a slick deck based on some standard format, but whether you're pitching a company or trying to get buy-in for a passion project at work.
Good. Okay, so the first point that this person is covering is a very good point. That it's not just going to, you don't just want to fit some standard mold of what you think a pitch deck is going to be. You want to kind of go off the cuff a little bit. People are going to notice the thing that stands out, and that's not unique. So it's good. It's good advice there.
So much of pitching is a storytelling exercise. You need to bring people along with you. You need to tell your audience a story that not only will draw them in, but it will make them feel that if they don't say yes, they will be missing out on something really big. When people think about pitching, they're thinking inwards. They think about their nerves, how smoothly they're talking, or what it takes to get to a yes. But the secret of successful pitching is to flip it outward. Who are you pitching to? What do they care about? How can you speak to what motivates them? For example, if you're pitching your startup idea to a venture capitalist who has lots of money to invest and needs big returns, they probably care about backing the next Uber or DoorDash. So you should focus your story on the size of the market opportunity. If you're pitching to a philanthropist or a nonprofit, their motivation is likely about large social impact. So focus on showing how your product or idea will improve things in a lasting way. If you're pitching a project at work, focus on the people you're pitching the project to. What do they care about? More customer loyalty, more revenue, or perhaps a promotion? Tell them how your project will help them attain the goal that they want in a way that makes it almost inevitable. Give them that feeling of, if I don't support this, I'm going to miss out on something.
I did sales when I was younger, not my cup of tea. Yeah, I mean, Skippy, I'm right there with you. Sales is not... There's a difference between selling oneself and sales. Sales is a lot more predatory and manipulative, and selling oneself is a lot more passionate and honest in most cases.
I care about deeply. Pitching is much like telling a story, just like a movie tells a story. You're charting the hero's journey in 3 acts. First, you start by telling about the hero's world, the status quo. In this case, the current situation that your product, idea, or service will be addressing. Then, introduce tension and conflict, showing all the problems that existing products aren't yet addressing. This will lead you to the big confrontation.
So this is all salesmanship. This is all like Shark Tank stuff. It's very basic, but still good information.
You, the hero, sweeping in to save the day. And from there, give the resolution. How are things changed as a result of your actions? How does your product, idea, or service solve the problems you highlighted earlier?
Identify the gaps and cover the gaps.
follow this arc perfectly. The story started with a disturbing status quo. Depending on where and how it's produced, 1 gallon of milk can take roughly 1,000 gallons of water to produce and can create about 6 kilograms of CO2 equivalent or more in the process. In this case,
that's why we should really stop farming cows.
the hero was the CEO and their team of scientists and food industry experts who have come up with a way to engineer plants to produce the animal proteins. They showed how a small crop of soybeans could create lots of delicious
hear growling.
cheese, and how this could feed the global population in a sustainable and yummy way. To anyone who cares about both the environment and good food, it was an irresistible story. It made me feel like I needed to be part of it, or I would be missing out on a big opportunity. When people are done charting their hero's journey, I make them identify their biggest weakness. Is it that they're missing somebody on their team? Or that it's very competitive? Or that they're trying to do something that has never been done before? Most people's instinct is to gloss over it, or even skip it altogether. But that's exactly the wrong thing to do, because the audience will notice it and will ask you about it. Instead, face it directly. Tell your audience, hey, you may think this is a problem, but here's exactly what I'm gonna do about it. And by showing the strengths and weaknesses of your story and not hiding anything, you inspire confidence, not only in you, but also in your story. The best.
So yeah, I mean, maybe not comprehensive information for how to get your project pitched, but a good framework. And then, so this one is more specifically, I don't know if,
treatments. A lot of people struggle with
I don't know if this is going to be useful information, so we're going to be discovering this together.
this. There is very little information about it online, which is exactly why I decided to make this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Nur Nias, and I'm a commercial director who makes commercials for brands like Samsung, Toyota, BMW, Red Bull, Coca-Cola, and many more. I have...
Well, there you go. Then maybe there's some reputability to this take. Oh shit! She escaped. She escaped. Ah. All right, just making sure she didn't steal her sister's food. All right. So, after this, we are going to... Oh, nice. After this, we are going to take a look at some of the works that I've done and have tried thus far unsuccessfully to pitch. So, strap in for that.
Over 5 years of experience in directing commercials, I myself struggled with writing treatments for years, and at this point of my career I have probably written and pitched well over 100 treatments. And some of them have won, others have lost, but most of all they have taught me a ton of lessons that I can share with you now to make your process a bit easier. So watch this video till the end to figure out what treatments are and how I approach my process. So what is a treatment? A treatment is an integral part in the pitching process following the...
First of all, your intro should never be more than like 30 seconds long. It should not take 50 seconds.
call with the agency or a client to discuss all of the creative ideas and direction.
That's my own, I guess, my own opinion.
Present your own ideas, be it film, commercial, or a music video. You do this through a document called a director's treatment. This is your chance to show how the video will look and feel like before any major decisions are made. The first time I was asked to make a treatment for a commercial back in 2018, I wrote and pitched it, and the agency never came back to me. That's when I thought to myself there was a bit of a homework to do. I started looking at treatments online, and I couldn't really find anything that had any value to me. So
I'm
I was begging producers I knew, some other directors, and just people that have more experience than me to share their treatments with me for me to learn. But nobody seemed open enough to share, and even if they did, they didn't have a plug-and-play structure that I could just rip off and use in my own treatments. And that's when
This brings up a very good first point. Well, second point, I guess. The second point is that we don't... for some reason or another, the industry is so incredibly cutthroat that people will not even share how the creative process works with other creators. This is why we need me around. This is why we need me here doing this. Because if in my journeys, I have encountered exactly this many people who are just purely in it to help other people. And maybe I'm not purely in it to help other people. I would love to get some of my works made, but there should be some of that altruism there in some capacity, at some level of creation. And some of those people go on to teach, or they go on to be like communicators in the space, but I don't know if that's enough. I think that we need like free education out there that is, based on what modern best practices say. Because there's plenty of people who teach film, but there's very few people who teach it in a modern way. Because, and this gets complicated, but I don't see the next big director being exactly like anybody else. The next big director, like before Scorsese came along, before Francis Ford Coppola came along, before any of the greats started making movies, there were already people making movies. And those guys didn't come up saying, I want to be just like this guy, or I want to be just like that guy, because there weren't really that many people for them to emulate. I'm sure that a lot of people, like, Tarantino has influences a lot, like a lot of Japanese stuff, like Kurosawa, a lot of Westerns and film noir. It's clear when you see him making something that those influences are there. But the next person is going to want to be the next Tarantino. Do you get what I'm saying? The next person is going to take that distilled set of skills that Tarantino has taken and made into his foot fetish outlet. But the next person along isn't going to be taking from his inspiration. They're going to be taking from his example. And in terms of just my experience with film, like my limited experience with both film production and just watching films myself, I don't personally feel like the next Christopher Nolan is going to happen from any of Christopher Nolan's acolytes. The next James Gunn isn't going to come along because of any of from the stock of James Gunn's acolytes. Most of the people that pioneered modern filmmaking did that as a response to something else. So if people as educators conduct film classes in order to teach somebody a method that somebody else pioneered, that is the result of a pushback against something societal, then we need to have that gap in order for that to happen once again. There's not going to be another film renaissance if we don't have another world war, which is fucking on its way. Or if we don't have people who pave the way for that kind of thing, society issues to push back on, big trauma to reflect or to project onto your work. And that often means that it's going to take a unique perspective in order to make this kind of stuff work. Something that I thought was very interesting about the new season of Daredevil is how it's filmed. And it looks a lot different. Like there's Dutch angles, there's Hitchcock zooms, there's dolly shots to show us like how his senses work, how the world on fire works. Chi-Chi, you're knocking into my light pole here. You're gonna knock it down and you're gonna hurt yourself. Guys, come on. Leave her alone. So do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be someone who goes, oh, I love James Gunn, I'd love to learn everything about film from James Gunn, who's going to be the next James Gunn. He's going to be a great member of James Gunn's team, but that's not the person that's going to be the next film pioneer, And I'm not claiming to be. Believe me, I don't think that my stuff is good enough to get made into a movie or TV show. I hope that it one day may be, but I don't place my expectations on that. But that's just my honest opinion, that it's very hard for me to believe that the next pioneer of filmmaking is going to come from the people who want to perfectly emulate their hero in filmmaking. And so it's not going to be something that you want to just rip off and use for your own when it comes to the pitch deck. You're going to want to just kind of make your own sort of way. You know, it's a lot of people want to say that you need to just do the best practices, and it's great to learn those things, but Hank Aaron held his bat all wrong, right? You have to learn the fundamentals, and once you learn the fundamentals, you have to be able to be creative enough to break outside of those fundamentals and to then form your own style and to do your own thing. That's how the big guys got to where they are. Okay? Let us continue.
Hit me. Treatments really have no defined structure, and every treatment is a reflection of the type of filmmaker you are. Every job.
Yep. See, so he answers that. Take your pieces to indie film festivals for critique and improvement ideas. I don't want notes. I think that's probably the reason I'll never get anything made, is because I will never listen to somebody telling me to change my shit. Never, ever, ever. And I know that kind of uncompromising nature is great for people who have their own film studio, but not for people who are trying to make it in film.
Job needs a unique approach because it's going to be read by different people with different personalities. Some have more ego involved and some are busier than others. And so you really have to tailor your pitch to a specific audience. And arguably, that's the most important part of the treatment writing. What do you write about?
Which is another piece of good advice. I think that, the same goes for restaurant development. And that's the reason why I even really have any kind of reason to speak up at all about this, because restaurant work is a lot like trying to make it in film. It's a lot of it is about who you know, a lot of it is about your circumstances and the resources that you have, but mostly it's dependent on your own ability to seek opportunities outside of what you know. And I've happened to do both TV stuff as well as cooking, so as well as chef work. So I've had a hand in both, and that's why I think that they're pretty similar. But yeah, so when you're opening a restaurant, and just like if you're pitching a movie or TV show, you want to tailor the restaurant not to your own concept, but to what the gap in the market is. You go to the area that you want to open your restaurant in, and you take a big survey and you say, what do you guys like to eat? How often do you guys go out to eat? How much do you typically spend? And what are some gaps in the, that you notice around here for things that you would like? Like, do you want to see more burger places? Do you want to see more, do you want, pasta plate? You know what I'm saying? Like, tailor the concept to the area, and if you find that the concept doesn't fit the area that you really, really, really want, then take it to a different area. Just like with directors or with production companies. If they make schlocky horror and your script is schlocky horror, then you've done it. But if they make sports content and you're trying to pitch schlocky horror, you might just want to go with a sports pitch. It seems simple, but it's something that a lot of people, because they have too much ego, don't ever listen to. And they try to take unique angles to places that don't do unique productions.
You really have to tailor your pitch to a specific audience. And arguably, that's the most important part of the treatment writing. What do you write about? Now, for me, the hardest part is usually to start writing. It's the text that scares me the most. And here's the list of few things that you could write about to kick things off. You could start with the approach. Explain how you will approach the film. What makes you the best fit for the job, and what do you have under your belt that will make this project great? Next.
So another thing that I'll say about writing, and this is not, again, I am not an authority, I'm not a famous writer, but what I find in terms of the work itself, and that actually, that means also writing the text for the pitch deck. If you hate writing, or if you try to avoid writing, or if you try to pawn it off, or if you try to do, other things instead of writing, like, you aren't going to have a good time. Writing is kind of an essential part, and again, this is just my opinion. Feel free to push back on it if you'd like. But writing is probably the most essential part of the filmmaking and TV, media process in general. If you don't have your ideas down on paper, there's every chance that you may forget a concept that you thought was really cool. So why not just jot it down? It all comes from writing. It all comes from letters on a piece of gosh darn paper. And one of the most important things that you can do is write down, especially like the overall idea for the thing, the overall story, the overall concept for how you plan to pitch it. Like, just write everything down, write every step of everything down, including parts of the script. Like, if you're a director, or a producer or whoever in the production, I am so sick and tired of people not having multidisciplines, people just like stick to their own like unionized, like, this is my one section of this thing and I'm only going to do key grip. Like, fuck that. I like multidisciplines. I would love to be writer, director, some actor in some capacity. I want to do all of that shit. And again, this is probably why I'll never get anything made, but I cannot sign off on something unless I know that it's above board. And that doesn't mean like, oh, I want to make sure that my creative vision is being honored. That's not really what I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about is like compliance within local laws to make sure that everyone's safe, consistent and adequate storytelling so that it actually moves the plot forward, those types of things. And I can't be sure of that unless I have a hand in it. And I gotta have fingers in the pie, you know? That's not supposed to sound suggestive, but it kind of does.
You could say a few words about the idea. What is the concept?
So yeah, that's my little blurb is if you don't like writing, I would try to just get work in film or in some aspect of production. I would not try to like be a creative going for like full creative works. Like, if you're an artist and you draw, I mean, it's good to know the story of why you're doing what you're doing, but that's not as important as actual, like, you're doing a script, you want to do a movie, and all you want to do is the script. Like, that would be boring for me. Like, I'd want to do some directing or, do some like set design or something. It depends on what your passions are, but be a multi-hyphenate. Don't just be one thing because that's like sort of like people's disciplines, and that's not, nobody's going to become, again, the next Ford Coppola or the next Scorsese, because he writes and directs his stuff. He like writes and produces his stuff. They all got like multi-hyphenate positions and shit.
Of the video.
It's just
Even
good.
If the idea is given to you by the agency, what is it that you like about it? Maybe you want to expand on it. Maybe you want to improve it. Or maybe it's so awesome that you really don't want to change anything about it. Then one of the most important parts is to write about visuals. How will the video look? This part is going to be very helpful not only to the agency side, but also for the production to calculate expenses and for the cinematographer to understand what is expected of him. Let me give you an example. Say it's a juice commercial.
But you see, you don't have to use a cinematographer. Well, I mean, you don't have to. It'd be good to use a cinematographer, but you don't have to use one if you know all the shots. If you've got the shot list on hand, if you know exactly what's going to happen during the entire production, you could very easily just do that yourself if you're good at it. Like, don't be like, I'm going to do all this stuff and then be bad at it. That's not good. You don't want to do that. That's not a good way to introduce people to your first work. If you are here on the stream for the first time, you may notice me turning off the face cams. That is because I medicate myself with Cannabis. And if you also medicate yourself with Cannabis, then feel free to sync up. We're going to be lighting the bowl here in just a few seconds. We do this several times a stream, and then we will. I'll let this continue to play, and then I'll turn on the face cam again. No harm, or it's no harm. It's not an especially long time. And you won't have to go without seeing my beautiful face for too long, okay?
Story about this family drinking this wonderful orange juice out on a picnic. How is it shot? Anamorphic, 16:9, or maybe vintage, 4:3. How is it lit? Front lit or back lit? Does the camera zoom in or out, or maybe dolly in? Or perhaps it's handheld. Is it morning, midday, evening, or at night? Where is the picnic happening? Out on a cozy beach, or in a park, or how about in front of a green screen? Do you notice how these things change the perception of the story? That's why you have to be very clear when communicating this to the reader. You could also write about the wardrobe, if that's important to the story. Coming back to our juice drinking family, what is the family wearing? Is it casual or more formal? What do these details tell us about the characters and their background? Imagine if their dad is wearing a sporty outfit. Is he a fitness enthusiast and really loves the juice for its nutrients? I mean, it's probably not the case, but the agency might love that idea, and so that's why you have to write about that. And you should back it up with really good quality images. When writing about the visuals, words can only take you so far. Use images and use high quality ones. Nothing screams more unprofessional than a watermarked image found on the first page of a Google search. It's important to find images that match the mood, as that's integral to self.
I mean, If you have the resources, sure. But I don't, again, as you know, I think that the best source of creativity is going to be from people who do not follow current trends. So if you're watching a video that has 239,000 views and you're going to try and take your pitch advice directly from that and only that, I'd say you probably don't deserve to be making something. But also, it's just a good idea to get like a bunch of different opinions on how to do these things. That's why we're playing 2 videos, and then we're going to go over my own personal experience with pitching. Yeah, it's good to get as many perspectives as possible on something. And if there's a billion people, not a billion, if there's all these people who are trying to make something, following guides on how to make something, aren't those all going to turn out pretty similar? Even if someone is like really, really trying to keep it original and unique, it's just not going to happen. Like, it's not going to stay that way for very long, because on a long enough timeline, the life expectancy of every living being drops to 0, right? That's the same. That's a homogeny. That's the same as quality for artistic works. If everyone follows the same template, which is just, let's say it's human existence, right? Adding, entropy to that. If everyone follows the same structure on a long enough timeline, all that stuff is going to end up looking exactly the same, or rather indiscernible. And so if you're here looking at a work that James Gunn has done, or if you're here looking at a work that Robert Kirkman has done, and you want to produce something similar to that, but you're still saying to yourself, I think I'm going to make something of my own. I'm going to make it, I think I'm going to make it unique. And you can probably manage to do that to some extent. But if you use the same formulas, if you use the same inspirations, then on a long enough timeline, 10 years down the road, you may have found success, but your stuff's going to look exactly the same as somebody else's. And it's not that it's a bad thing necessarily to fill the marketplace with similar things, because that makes money, people like that kind of stuff. They like predictability, they like to know what to expect. But if you're here trying to be the next insert famous name, then it's not going to be from following the same template that everybody else does. And I think that's what a lot of modern filmmakers are forgetting, just like a lot of trades are going by the wayside, because people don't understand that there are essential services that exist that aren't necessarily tipped, that need to make more money than other professions because they are specialized services, and thus that's how trades, were born or were maintained for the last century. But it's like people, and the same thing with managing styles. If you work at a retail store, you may notice that the management style might be very similar to how things work at corporate places, but like they don't look like the same management styles that we saw maybe 10, 20 to 50 years ago. And that's all because when people leave a profession, they don't give a shit about passing down their legacy. They just, some people are passionate about their work, but not a lot. Okay? Not a lot of people are. And that's a decline, right? That used to be a big thing, because in the 50s and 60s, like, people were all about, oh, I'm a member of a advertising board, Johnson & Johnson. And like, they cared a lot about what they did because it was what they were passionate about. That's because people had a lot more fucking resources to throw around back then. A lot of us are in poverty wages, and we just gotta have to take the jobs we take, which means once we're right out of high school, or once we get our college degree, it's like, okay, but now I gotta go work, okay? I had a lot of fun finding myself, but now it's kind of time to put the nose to the grindstone, okay? But that's why homogeny happens. It's because people, they take that knowledge with them. They take that legacy out of the company with them, and they don't teach the next generation. Hey, Jermaine Event, what's up? And so when you are learning how to be a manager, or in this case, when you're learning how to write a script, or learning how to put together a pitch deck, you are specifically putting yourself into that creator's box, into whatever the box is that you're trying to fill or that you're using as inspiration. And that's why if you're going to film school, learning the techniques of James Gunn, learning about how James Gunn does things, and never like going to him and opposing him, like saying, I'm going to do things completely different than you are, then you're not going to be the next James Gunn. It's always a response. It's always a response to something.
Yourself as a visual director. If you're wondering where I search for high quality images, then you should check out FrameSet. It's an AI powered platform that has many different search filters to help you find very specific.
Don't use AI to generate pictures for your pitch deck. Pay an artist or get free pictures. Do not use AI. AI is a bubble that is already bursting. So I would steer clear.
Images. Again, the example. If you're pitching for a juice commercial and their brand color is orange, you should use that to your advantage. Fortunately, with FrameSet, you can even set the exact color parameters in the search to find matching images from other commercials.
I bet you this is an advertisement. I bet you this is an advertisement for this platform.
Their Pro membership will give you unlimited search in 4K. If you ever want to upgrade, I have a 10% discount for my subscribers. All you need to do
Yep. He says it. I think you're supposed to still disclose it. It doesn't look like it. Well, I mean, I guess this is kind of like a disclosure. See, so like it's almost like people in the industry just will never ever share how to do these things for free, at least. It's always going to come with some advertisement. It's always going to come with like hiring their services as like a consultant or some shit. Like that's why we're doing this today, because I am so tired of reaching out to other creators, and either they think I'm looking for advice or they misinterpret my request for a collab to be me looking for advice, and then they just try to give me some canned advice on how to grow. Heard it all before. Or they just never get back to me. And that is so galling to me, because like I respond to everything. If somebody like sends me an email, I will always respond to it. And it's not because I'm not busy, but it's because that's just the respectful fucking thing to do. Respond to your emails. All right? It's just kind.
Click the link in the description and use the code NORNIASFilms at checkout. This video is not sponsored by FrameSet, but I do get a small commission if you do decide to upgrade at no extra.
I guess it's still an ad, right? Like that's still it's okay. I mean, that's okay. That's a good thing, you know. It's still a disclosure of it being an ad, even if he's saying that they're not sponsored by it. Like I would say that's going beyond and being transparent about it. So that's cool.
Cost for you. Ultimately, my goal is to help you guys and to share this wonderful resource I use every time I'm building my treatments.
Yeah. I know it's an ad.
Post-production too. And then again, you want to be very attentive during that first briefing, because you want to read the energy in the room and see if the treatment even deserves so many details about the post-production. But if you're anything like me, you won't miss the chance to brag about how the editing is going to be carried out, how we're going to cut from one scene to another, what is it going to do to a viewer on a subconscious level. I also absolutely love including a few pages on how the color grading is going to be done, because I'm always...
I have nothing to say about this advice. I just wanted to pause it just in case I'm not breaking it up enough. Yeah. I agree with all this.
So specific when it comes to the color in my work, in my films. I feel like so much of the video's look and feel is dictated by the color grading decisions we make in pre-production. And if it really adds to the understanding of the story, you could write about the CGI and VFX, but you want to be careful with this one because it can often lead to too much information and
yeah, I was going to say, you might inundate people way too much with just like random bits of information that they do not give a shit about.
Become a bit confusing. Which software should you use to build your treatments? I think it really doesn't matter as long as you find it comfortable and become familiar within the software.
Microsoft Word or Google Documents. Best place to write all your pitch treatments.
Personally, I have tried many different options like Google Slides, Microsoft PowerPoint, Canva, but I have found myself gravitating towards Keynote the most often, and I decided to stick with it in the recent years.
Just Docs.
They all function similarly,
just Google Docs.
Can make it clean and understandable.
Just write it in
any of them will suffice.
Just a Word document is
a
fine.
process that takes years to master, and it definitely takes more than just watching a video. If you want the most comprehensive guide on writing good winning treatments, you should check out.
Like, I think if I'm completely honest, if you were to just slip a producer a sheet of paper, a small little index card that says movie about and then you had a viral enough idea, that's really all you would need. So you can absolutely distill all of this down into something very, very tight and concise, and you could give an elevator pitch if you want. You know, you don't have to do this whole pitch deck. You don't have to do a slide deck or whatever the fuck people are talking about. You don't have to do any of that stuff. It helps because a lot of people are visual learners. A lot of people are auditory learners. Like sometimes people like to hear or see or visualize whatever it is they're doing. So it's easier for them to be like yes or no right there on the spot rather than having to think about it. But I mean, if you're targeting it, right, you're trying to target your pitch to the right person, then why not just go with the path of least resistance? You know, if you've got one company who's interested, and you can probably shop that around to other companies and say like, this company's interested, and it might strengthen your pitch. It's like, oh, if I was pitching a horror movie and I really wanted to be on Shudder, then I would go to A24 and I would go to Blumhouse and I would say like, you know, is there any way you guys would be willing to hear this pitch, or are you interested in this movie? Just for the sheer sake of going to Shudder later and saying A24 is interested, if that sweetens the pot at all. But that's all, you know, that's politics and bureaucracy, right? You're trying to appeal to one company just for their sheer discontent for another.
My 50-page ebook
Malcontent.
covers all the little details and intricacies of writing winning treatments and delves deep into how it's done in the professional world of commercial directing. The bundle includes the ebook itself, printable checklist, and an example treatment to see how I approach
talking more about his advertisements.
Video. How long should your treatment be? Look, this is not a high school writing assignment, so I can't really tell you exactly how many words should you include, but I think as long as it communicates the idea well, then it does its job. A good communication...
It should definitely be no longer than your script. I think that's a good standard, and we can start there. You know, I mean, that's pretty broad. That's a pretty lax standard, but I just, you know, it should be less pages than your script, less words than your script. That would be a good place to start. Gosh darn it. You got to start somewhere, right? I mean, let's start at infinity, and then we got to work our way backward. All right. Go to like 1 million pages. It's another gate. And then we'll go like 100,000 pages. And then we'll go to 1,000 pages. And then I think that's fine. And then we'll say, then the new standard will be, it should be no longer than your script. Because typical script is what? As many minutes as the movie is?
Is a context-specific matter. Treatments are best when they're really short, say 8 to 15 pages, and other treatments work best when they're really in-depth and can easily go over 50 pages long.
Oh, God!
For reference, last year I pitched for Dubai Tourism, and it was my most comprehensive treatment to this date, and it was just shy
too
of
many
80
pages.
So there you have your spectrum, I guess. But I should say my sweet spot is between 20 and 25 pages. It's short enough to not get boring, and still long enough to really dig deep into the important bits.
I think you probably have to have a lot of like pictures and stuff in there or something like that. That I'm guessing.
Dark secret. There are companies out there that offer visual research, design, layout, and even writing services for directors based on their idea. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you have to pitch one treatment after another back to back.
I would say no, I don't ever approve of third parties. I hate third parties. I hate middlemen. I hate all that shit. Do not offload work. Do the work. And if you find that you are running out of time to do the work, meaning you're working as hard as you can, nose to the grindstone, and you find that you're running out of time, that's when it's time to offload work. That's when you start bringing somebody in to help with whatever it is that you can't finish. You give them that task. And then if they're able to handle that, then you increase your workload. And when you find there's something else you can't finish, you then give them that, and then they can maintain. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people who just don't want to work, who want to just have a movie idea made, and they will then outsource every single bit of it to the cheapest people that they can, right, to save as much money as possible, and that ends up making their movie fucking terrible. It's really the people that get their hands dirty and get in there and get in the grime and the muck and really just slog it down, who make the best movies, right? Like what's his face? Orson Welles was like fucking involved in every single goddamn aspect. Hitchcock, another, was involved in every single goddamn aspect. Some of the greats. Some of the greats.
And if you win the job, the paycheck is kind of high that it kind of justifies, paying some extra money to hire these companies, especially when you're really short on time. These treatment services can cost anywhere.
Ah, see? Yeah, same philosophy. You work. I mean, I meant to say that over and over again, but you work, and then you get that work done. And if you find that you're running out of time to get that work done, that's when you start offloading. You don't do it any time before that. And he says, if you're running short on time, yeah.
Between $500 and $2,000, depending on what you want them to get done sometimes, but not always.
$500,000? Oh, no, $500. Never mind. I interpreted what he said wrong.
To help you out, because they're also interested in you winning the job. And in the past, I had the luxury to work with these types of companies a few times, and it's a really collaborative way to write a treatment. However, for some reason, I still prefer to have a full control over how I write my treatments, how they look, the text, the design, the visual research, and paying so much money well.
But he uses AI. That's another money cost. That's another cost-saving feature of hackery.
Being uncertain that you even get
and I will not approve.
It's pretty painful to me. But if you have the money to afford it, just know that these services do exist, and I won't name any names, just Google it. There's plenty of them. But yeah, I would say the most important step is to practice. Try and ask for feedback if you don't win. And I know it's hard to get access to, but try your best to see other...
I would say the only pushback, because his video is almost over, and then we can just talk about my shit for a little bit. I don't mind him saying you win the pitch, because I'm sure that's probably just industry terminology that I'm unfamiliar with, but I don't like thinking about it as a competition. Like it's not a zero-sum game. Nothing really is unless it's designed that way, and movies are not designed that way. Film is not TV shows are not designed that way. No media production or really any creative industry is really designed to be a zero-sum game, since it's all interpretive, it's all subjective, it all is just a matter of taste and how things make you feel. And that includes like creators as well. Like creators are going to create like every rendition of every concept that anyone could ever think about. It looks like this guy, he has like demon eyes now. And so like you really just kind of want to do your own thing and be passionate about what you're passionate about, and you're gonna find a niche somewhere, and that's why I say that it's really good to be multidisciplined, because then you don't really have to worry about trying to find a home. You're gonna find a home no matter where. Like, because if you have to turn your movie into a video game, like there's circles where that happens. If you have to turn your book into art instead of a TV show, there's plenty of places where you can find a home if you are able to be a multi-hyphenate. If you can like find different disciplines and incorporate yourself into that, then it can take a lot of different iterations. So there's no zero-sum game to any of this creative stuff. You can find a place, you will find a home, and you just got to keep working. That's the only thing that matters, is to just keep doing the work. That's what and I've been to every con that has come to town. Like, so, Fan Expo, Comic-Con, like all the cons. And at every panel, every celebrity, and every interview I've ever watched, they always say, with the most insight as they can, because, whatever, they probably all just give the same responses, but they always say that the most important thing to do, and some of these are literaries, some of these are, famous creatives, the best thing to do is just keep doing the work. Even if you hear no after no after no after no after no, you just keep doing the work. You write another page, you write another script, you move on to another project. Like, you just keep doing the work. That's all that matters.
Directors' treatments and analyze them. That's how you.
So I just don't like the term win or lose a pitch.
You have a pretty good idea of how you like your flow and style. Thank you for watching this video.
What's up,
I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the like button to let the algorithm know that it was helpful. Please leave some questions and comments, as I always read them and try to reply to them as much as I can. And most importantly, remember, the process is the reward.
Ah, he's disappeared. Oh my god. So yeah. That is a very short blurb on how to put a I guess a deck together, a pitch deck or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm deleting some that I had access to, but are not actual things. So here, I'm pretty sure this is the full thing. Okay, so I think this is... So this is a script that I wrote for a, I guess kind of a spoofy kind of cooking show, like a cooking competition. Very much in the vein of like early 2000s, sort of like Gonzo film style MTV, you know, whoa with the camera kind of shit. Like, oh, it's all like, there's like hand drawn shit all over the screen, you know, it's like, oh, it's cool. I mean, I guess I can just read this out. I don't really need to because you can see it on the screen, but I'll just read it for convenience, okay? The general visual aspect would mimic grainy and processed video from a VHS deck or 80s or public access channel, chromatic aberration, progressive scan, etc. These are necessary details to put into your script. Not necessarily script, but shot list at the very least. But I would say that so we'll go over an elevator pitch after we read the script because it's a short script. It's maybe 6 pages. It's not long. It'll take maybe an hour to read. Maybe, not even that much. But so the whole point of why we're doing this is because after we read this, we're going to go over how would you pitch this? How would I pitch this? Well, I guess I'm probably not going to get a good how would you pitch this because there's only 2 viewers, but still. We're going to say how I would pitch this and, you know, we can break down. Are we listening to Christmas music? Why is it a winter wonderland? Why is it a winter wonderland right now? That's weird. Oh my gosh. Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. So after this, we're just going to talk about how we would pitch it. And y'all can feel free to help me brainstorm, but this is something that I've already pitched. It's something that I've already heard no's on. So I'm not writing it off, but it's a good example because it's a tired script at this point. It's been up on the shelf for a while. But the pitch is what's important. And my approach may be just different, and we'll go over my experience, but my approach may be a little different than, you know, what people would recommend. But the reason, again, why we're doing this is because nobody else does this. Nobody else is telling people advice on how to get their shit in front of the right faces. And I think if this had existed 10 years ago when I was looking for it, then I would be doing what I want to be doing, you know? I'd be doing what I love and not struggling to do this, you know? Like, this time would be spent writing for things, you know? Bullshit. But that is what it is like. That is why it's cutthroat. That is why it's looked at like a zero-sum game, because people guard the industry so much, they guard access so much that it necessitates, again, someone doing something different. That's why we're here, and that's why we're doing this. So if anyone flips into this from, you know, whatever the shorts feed and you happen to be in film, then maybe considering jumping on the bandwagon and giving some of your advice, for like real advice, you know what I mean? Instead of just like, I guess you could just enter stuff into contests and that might work. I mean, Skippy, I'm not saying that's bad advice, but it's just the same advice that everyone gives, you know? So yeah, if you're in production, holla at ya boy. I'm sorry that I said it that way. It wasn't very funny. Could have been funnier. All right, intro, overhead footage, stick and pull, drone showing highlights of the arena for that week, showing intercut between action movement and empty stationary, like 90s music video, very similar to Iron Chef. If you remember the old Iron Chef TV show, it was very grainy, very processed, and very Japanese, and it was a great style. And I would love to bring back that sort of like filmed on a VHS camera style. Voiceover. This battleground will pit two complete amateurs against each other in an old, familiar classic cooking competition with some unique twists and turns that are sure to embody the eclectic quality of this city. City shot pan down to host, center frame walking toward camera. Intercut with sizzle clip. So they're just going to show just a montage of clips from the coming episode. The camera is set up out of view of the hosts, filming them candidly while their mics are hot. The setup for this improv is that they are eating something delicious, food covers their faces, and they're going to have a discussion on some recent news events in between bites, and invoking the name of God, moaning over the delicious food. Intercut with shots of action, breaking up the casual feel of the scene, and with the late night romp, completely shit-faced nightlife stuff. Voiceover. Two hosts. That's not a good voiceover voice. Hang on. Let me see if I can do it. Hang on. Hang on. Got to do the voice exercises, right? Two hosts, equally as enamored with culinary sportsmanship as with the quality of their general vibe, will break down exactly how things will work over the next few days, probably drunk. There you go. It's a good announcer voice. 35 seconds in. So the reason why we're talking about the timeline is because this is supposed to be a shot list. I don't know if I'm doing it form for the industry, but I don't care. See how that works? You take that and you go, whoop. What standard? What standard? What? Title: Ultra Cuisine Fight 86th. I think that's a really good show title. Don't fucking at me, alright? I will not take cyberbullying. Host 1, thanks to you, cameraman. And then host 2, interrupting everybody. I think if you've ever seen a Cold Ones video, you would know exactly the dynamic of these guys. It is part and parcel exactly that dynamic. They go on, they do a little bit of banter. Welcome to the competition. Improv banter for about 2 minutes. Leading topics: local things, food, beer, memes. They're sitting at the table. So they have this a quirk of the. I'll actually enlarge this so you can see it even better. There you go. Now you can read it. Look. Now I won't have to. Can I actually just get this said? Can you say this? No, we're not there in the future yet. Right? Why wouldn't you be able to audio? Listen, audio generation was unsuccessful. Damn it! Can I try again? Unsuccessful. All right. Well, damn, that was going to make things so much easier. Okay, whatever. So a quirk of this particular production is that they would be carrying around just a simple folding plastic table, and the table gets beat to shit over the entire show. It's good to have little unique things like that, And none of this is advice. This is all just me sharing my shot list. We're gonna go into the pitch after we read it, but I know. Here's me, Goose, just kind of sharing a bit of myself with you, Sharing my writing style. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to do voices for the hosts, by the way. I maybe do the announcer, but these hosts are supposed to be screaming and chaotic, so we're not. They are the foil. So I won't be screaming. They're sitting at the table to carry around with them. The going theme is that this table will be beaten up and destroyed, then replaced each episode, and is a point of frustration for the submissive host. There will be one dom and one sub, just like most dynamics. They introduce the teams and start the battle, and then sit down and start drinking, and the intro, the first segment, the intro to the team. So, wow, that is just not a sentence. I don't know if I am reading it too quickly, or if I was not reading it quickly enough, or not quickly enough. Hosts. The team start cooking around the hosts, and they hastily move the table out of the way and onto the mark to continue. So it's it's all just supposed to look really rough. It's all supposed to look like it's a slapdash production, but every moment's planned out. It's supposed to look like nobody knows what's going on. So this is all supposed to be really, really awkward. Like, they introduce the teams, and then they start the battle, and then they're like, oh shit, like, we got to get out of the way. And, like, people are running around them, and they're like, trying to move. They're moving the table in between them. Like, it would be a good little, like, comedy duo skit sort of vibe, in between this, like, very serious competition. You know, it would actually be like a real competition. Like, you know, there would be quirks just like Iron Chef. You know, there might be like a secret ingredient. You know, we'll see as we go, but it'll be a real thing. Just the comedy stuff will be written out. Okay. The hosts lay out the rules and the expectations of the contest. 2 chefs/owners/pros take on 2 amateurs. Spend 2 days teaching them everything they know, and then pit them against each other in a culinary bloodbath. So, I'm not sure if that makes sense. Basically, there will be this, like, scripted, kind of fake rivalry between 2 local to... This is just a Portland... You know, I'm based in Portland, so that's just where this takes place. But it could be any city. 2 chefs/owners/food professionals will take apprentices for 2 days and teach them everything they know about cooking, and then they will pit them against each other in a cooking competition. They give more rules, and then intro to the first segment. First segment, wide shot of Portland, intercut with storefronts, restaurants, action shots of cooking in the first chef's restaurant. This is very similar to like how you would see a sizzle reel as an introduction for contestants in any other cooking competition. It's like you see shots of their restaurant, you see shots of them cooking, that kind of stuff, you know, in our own familiar style. Chef 1 talks about his history cooking, relationship with other contestant, why they're better, and what they expect and how they expect to win. Voiceover. This is announcer, so I can... Hang on, let me put my announcer voice on, okay? It's very particular. There's a whole process. Okay. Portland. Portland. 3 words come to mind to describe this city. Weirdness, Nike, and food. Middle-earth historian J.R.R. Tolkien said, "If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. And in cities like this, situated in a hub of activity, both social and civil, cutting clips of civil unrest, the words valuing community over commodity ring all the more true. In this unique landscape, the restaurant industry remains one of the last places where people of all walks of life can still come together and engage. Cut-in clips of impassioned yet civil arguments between friends, groups having real discussions with opposing viewpoints. In these places where barriers fall away and only people remain." Then we get to an exterior shot. Restaurant of the first contestant, starting at the name, pan down to the host of the camera. The hosts, they then go in and do like a Room Raiders style. They go and take the guy, like, oh, you know, they knock stuff over. They take chairs and tables with them into the kitchen. There's a bunch of like chaotic screaming and yelling, and then they just set up like a chef's table in the kitchen. And chef sits down and takes a beer. Like, everything's going to be boisterous. Everything's going to be way over the top. And so he's going to like sit down, slam a beer down, open it, start chugging. And then the host breaks down why they are there, and what they expect from the chef, and go over the rules of the competition. They then, suddenly, and without warning, put a bag over the chef's head, and the camera shifts to a blurry motion shot from the ad, like you wouldn't steal a car, like just that really quick panning, like motion blur and stuff. And they abscond with the chef during service, leaving the other cooks wondering what's happening, creating chaos as they leave. This would all be obviously scripted, you know, but I just think it would be really funny for them to like go in and kidnap the chef, a la Room Raiders. Cut to the next shot. Next destination, first place, the place of the first meeting between the chefs and the amateurs. And this is the first impromptu challenge. The hosts, they explain the rules for the first quickfire challenge that's designed to gauge amateurs' respective skill sets. We all know the food will suck, and that chefs will be forced to critique the amateurs' signature dishes. The cooks are given a length of time, ideally much too short, to create a signature dish, and they will be tasted blind by the chefs. Chefs will rate the dishes, and the winner will receive an advantage in the final competition. This should be pretty quick. You don't want to overshadow the main event or take up unnecessary time. 10 minutes, give or take. Not sure if plus or including judging. I mean quick. The chefs will talk about their ideas about strategy while tasting the dishes, describing what they do with each of the contestants if they happen to be theirs to train. 3 minutes each judging, 30 seconds consensus, 30 seconds setup each, rough times. Possible titles, 86th, yada yada. Cut to host, repeat to have a short time. Here we go, okay. The contestants will be revealed and will have a short time to talk to their mentor before being thrown into a quick surprise challenge. It won't really be a surprise, but the host will treat it as though it's the first time they've ever introduced it every episode. They will completely ignore all challenges to that notion. We're setting up a bit of a light comedy show. Maybe not light comedy, maybe a bit dark comedy, but it's a comedy show. We're setting up a comedy show here, all right? It's a little bit sketchy, a little bit comedy, a little bit gonzo film style. The challenge: the contestants must cook a very simple recipe in a half an hour and throw in one element of their own. It can be a change to an existing item or in the recipe or an entirely new one. They cannot omit anything. These recipes will be easy enough to follow with enough given ingredients that anyone with minimal capabilities could make it work. The idea is to give us something to gauge the initial ability of the novices and the initial ability of the mentors to assess and coach their student. The hosts and a predetermined celebrity who will not speak will take a bite of whatever and leave. So yeah, let's say that you were able to sign on like John Cena, right? Like just for some local production. You know, you had John Cena coming in. He just sits at the table and gets the result of the competition, takes a bite, and then just gets up and leaves without a word. That's it. Easy payday for John Cena. But it would be something like that. You'd get whatever the biggest celebrity is that you can get for that week. You'd have them sit down, like ready, like as their guest judge, and they would sit down ready to take a bite, and then they would get up and leave without words. I think it'd be hilarious. The winner gets a unique sponsored prize and gets a slight time advantage in the final battle. Cut to sponsorship sketch segment. Cut to the preparation intro, host breakdown prep. I think I had ideas for sketches, but I'm not sure. Contestants will have 48 hours to learn about as much about cooking as possible from their mentors. They must decide on a twist ingredient to be introduced during the battle. They must agree on a rough idea of what they're trying to cook. These are just the rules. I don't think that's important really to read off. Training montage, broken up by footage of the contestants, pretty straightforward. Host always in the background, same table, usually with drinks. We see a roller coaster of emotions at play. A win, a challenge, rising above it, and getting ready for the final battle. Cut to charity, contestant, local shout-out, promotion, sketch. Cut to the final scene of the final battle. Splice in action over empty and calm kitchen. Again, these are all just kind of things that belong in there. You just want the broad strokes for what the thing is going to be like. And I mean, this is more or less not a full script. Not a full script. Though, I do have it in here. Nope, I found it. Nope. Just open it. There we go. Okay, now. Okay, now close. Okay, now close. Well, whatever. Okay. Sketch, ad break. I don't know why. I just think that this is a really funny idea for a sketch. Why are you still... My Windows Explorer is still just like chilling? Not responding. Oh god. No, please. Don't shut down the computer. I think we're good. The endless abyss of space. The wreckage of a huge ship can be seen in the background. One of the hosts floats in from off-screen. Debris being thrown around for immersion against a really bad green screen effect. Host shouting into radio to co-host. This is host reporting from the wreckage. It's over. We did it. We fucked up, man. There's nothing left of the... Stifle F. DNA. Also floating around in debris, but pretending to drive spaceship, the console of which is the table they use, cutting host one off. The people, the space, the program's over. What will we do? Feigned shocked horror. Badly. If only we had Ancestry.com. Yeah, they help us get everyone's DNA. Bread filter and demonic voice, eyes, glowing filter. They've been harvesting your essence. Back to normal. Okay, I'm going to come back around, pick you up. Brow. Drives in a table, destroying it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that's a funny idea for a sketch. I don't know. Whatever. And I think there was another one too. Difference between this and commercial segments that this is the advocation plug, the main sponsor. Yeah, you should also just mention, that you're going to have sponsors, and maybe that'll help with some of the salesmanship. People will be like, oh, so you already know how to monetize this stuff. Okay. Table address. Hey, you guys like food, right? Why the fuck are you asking if they like food and watching this, man? Come on. Yada, yada, yada. Very, very cold ones style. Table address. Wildcard shout out. Reminder of the sponsors. I mean, again, just sort of very run of the mill. But so how would you pitch this? How would you pitch this? How would you pitch this? What? My Windows firewall is down. How would you pitch this? Well, first I'd think about who we're pitching to. And this could be a TV studio. This could be to an internet-based media production company. Could be to a group of film-savvy friends. The point is that we're tailoring the language, we're tailoring the script itself, we're tailoring the mentions of sponsorships and the sketch ideas to the person who we're pitching it to. If we're pitching it to a TV studio, we want to keep in mind that maybe we don't use as much cussing, maybe we don't use as much of a chaotic vibe, maybe it's much more tame, and then we just take things up a notch later as they seem to be accepting of it. If it's a group of friends, we really don't have to pull back on anything. We can just kind of let it rip and see what they enjoy. And if they want to kick in $200 for cameras or film or toilet paper, whatever, if they want to help work on it, cool. If they want to help, with the edits and whatnot, cool. All of that is helpful. But obviously you're gonna tailor it to whoever is gonna be watching the sizzle reel or the reading the script or whatever. But initially, Jesus. Initially, you want to just have something generic, right? Something all-encompassing, something that can be very easily distilled or changed to fit your audience. I'm trying to put this in the screen so that y'all can see it. It is a little too big for the screen. All right, tell me if that works. Yeah, that works. Okay. Just let me know if you can't see it. So, in terms of talking about what an elevator pitch is, an elevator pitch is basically a metaphorical method of pitching something where you are in an elevator with an executive who says, "Thrill me," and you're given maybe 3 to 5 minutes to tell them everything they need to know about the thing that you're working on. If it's artwork, that's a pretty easy one. You just show a portfolio of shit you've done, tell them what you're going for. But if it's something written, you can't exactly pull out a script and have them read it, right? So if I'm selling a if I'm trying to sell a script for a cooking competition, then I would try to put it in as few words as possible. I would say something like a reality show style, or like an early aughts reality show style cooking competition where established food professionals like chefs, owners, food experts, an early aughts reality show style cooking competition where established food professionals like chefs, owners, food experts engage in scripted and improved rivalries, but then go on to train what would you say, amateurs selected by the showrunners, but then go on to train amateurs selected by the showrunners, having 48 hours to teach them everything they will need to know for an epic food battle. At the end of the mentorship, a la Iron Chef. It'll be hosted by a classic slapstick comedy duo, but updated for modern audiences, who will lead the pacing, provide comedy foil and commentary, and judge the final dishes along with the mentor chefs. Is that it? An early aughts reality show style cooking competition where established food professionals like chefs, owners, food experts engage in scripted and improvised rivalries, but then go on to train amateurs, real amateurs selected by the showrunners, of course, having 48 hours to teach them everything they will need to know for an epic food battle at the end of the mentorship, a la Iron Chef. It'll be hosted by a classic slapstick comedy duo, but updated for modern audiences, who will lead the pacing, provide comedy foil and commentary, and judge the final dishes along with the mentor chefs. Will be able to put brands right in front of the camera and even have sketch segments carved out of every episode for container ads and charitable charitable, fundraising. Fundraising. Okay. Sorry, again, I said I knew this was going to be a boring segment of the stream, so bear with me here. An early aughts reality show style cooking competition where established food professionals like chefs, owners, food experts engage in scripted and improvised rivalries, but then go on to train real amateurs selected by the showrunners, having 48 hours to teach them everything they will need to know for an epic food battle at the end of the mentorship a la Iron Chef. It'll be hosted by a classic slapstick comedy duo, but updated for modern audiences, who will lead the pacing, provide comedy foil and commentary, and judge the final dishes along with the mentor chefs. We'll be able to put brands right in front of the camera and even have household brands. Household brands right in front of the camera and have sketch segments, and have sketch segments carved out of every episode for container ads and charitable fundraising. This show will save you money and be extremely entertaining for newer audiences, taking advantage of the present resurgence of early aughts culture. Bada bing. And there you go. So that is how I would write the initial inquiry for the script that we just looked at. Obviously, you would tailor it differently depending on who you're trying to pitch to, but this is a good beginning. It should take, an elevator ride, right, in order for someone to completely comprehend what you're trying to say. Burped. So yeah, hopefully this helps if you are trying to create a pitch for something, at least an elevator pitch. Now, going beyond this, I don't know that I have much to contribute going beyond just a simple blurb, because that's really how I prefer to communicate, like what my ideas are with people. It's easier to just have something simple. You can write down as much as you want, and you can try to communicate as much as you want, but really their attention span is only going to be like a couple of minutes, right? And so if you've set up a meeting with someone, like a Zoom call or whatever, and they're saying like, do you have any ideas that I should hear about? And you don't have something like this ready, then it's going to be hard to sell yourself or your idea to the person who's asking. So it's just good to have this in general in case you find yourself in a circumstance where somebody's willing to listen and they actually have the resources or influence to get something done about it. So after this, you got to think about who to contact. Who the hell do I talk to? This is a very, very simple one. And I know that it's probably really rudimentary, but I fully believe that you should reach out to people directly on Instagram. If they're a member of a community that, like, if they're industry, they probably have it set up so that they don't take random messages from random users. That's okay. That doesn't mean that you should give up. You should look at their other social media and try those as well. If they just don't receive correspondence from people, then you can still tag them in like a Twitter message or a Threads message or whatever, and there's always the chance they might reply and set up a way for you to be able to DM them. They could whitelist you or whatever. Another thing that you could do is you could put your work out there like I'm doing. Like I mean, that's not what I'm doing, but it would be like this. You could live stream the creative process. If you don't, sorry, I'm fixing my pant leg. If you don't want to give away your ideas, you could actually come up with a new idea on stream, or you could use an old idea that you know is really tired and not going to get made into anything, like this one. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can get your work out there, But I would always recommend going directly to the person that you want to pitch to. If you want to pitch a TV show to Eric Kripke, contact him. Like, try to reach out on Twitter, try to reach out on Instagram. He may never reply to you. His team may not ever reply to you, but it's always the person. Again, this is how they operate. They operate just like restaurants. Like, if you walk into a restaurant with a famous chef working there and you say, I have very little experience, but I have been watching your stuff for a long time. I really want to learn from you. Is there any way that I could just do, something on the side, like just observe? Could I sit in on the kitchen and stage for a couple of days? Like, is there any way you'd be able to just incorporate me somewhere? And if the person's passionate enough about their craft, if Eric Kripke, for whatever reason, if that you're deciding to, I have a show that I would love to pitch Eric Kripke, so that's why I'm using him as an example. But or at least the Kripke co-team, But like, if you have something like that, then send it to them. Like, do everything that you can to contact them. And obviously, you don't want to come off like a fucking stalker. But the point is that if you need it to get in front of specific eyes, then try that first. Try that first and foremost. Don't worry about getting a fancy pitch deck together. Don't worry about getting like a full script together. Just try to reach out to the people that you need to reach out to first and foremost. And if that doesn't work, then go the route of entering competitions, then go the route of building a writing team and seeing if maybe you've only been in an echo chamber for the last decade, like there's other steps to take, but the first one is to reach out to the most important person that you can find. And the reason is because it works. It is about who you know, but the internet exists and you can simply just reach out to anybody that you need to. And a lot of security is there, and for good reason. But if you are persistent and consistent and you're not coming off as creepy, then you might get their ear at some point. And that's way more of an advantage than them randomly finding you at some contest or some film festival. Discovery is great, but that only happens to a very small percentage of people. You have to put your stuff in front of the right face. That sounded extremely horny for no reason. I don't know why. Don't put your stuff in front of the right face all the time, okay? Put creative works in front of the right eyes that can help you move it along. That's much better of a way of saying that. That sounded much less horned up. Sorry about that. Bad language. But so yeah, reach out to the most important people. I cannot overstate that enough. It is never going to get in front of the right eyes unless you put it in front of the right eyes, or unless somebody bootstraps you. I mean, that's fine too, but it's going to serve you much better to be able to put yourself out there more, because the more you hear rejection, the more okay it's going to be, because it's like, it's not the end of the world. You're going to hear no a lot. You're even going to hear yes sometimes, and it'll still be a no. So honestly, my advice is just to keep doing the work. And that's part of the work, is reaching out and networking. But it's like, if you take a look at the people that you're in contact with now and your network or whatever, and you may see things a lot differently than you might if you reach out to a new person every day for the next year, or for the next year, or for the next year, or for the next year. As you start to reach out, as you start to get rejected, you're going to get accepted too, or you're going to find people who want to work with you just by happenstance, by sheer fact that you're trying to get a hold of somebody by, say, leaving a comment on one of their pictures, right? You're saying like, hey, I tried DMing you, but I really would love to pitch a project to you that I've been working on, or at least get your opinion on it. It's really good to kind of frame things like you're hoping to get notes. But I wouldn't do that, because I would feel dishonest doing that, because I wouldn't listen. So yeah, that's another way that you can do that too, is leaving a comment on some of their things that they post. It could be an assistant. It could be a production assistant or like a secretary or something like that. And that's fine too. Like they might push your work forward as well. If they think that your idea sounds cool enough, they might take it to the big man. You never know. So yeah, reach out to the biggest fucking person that you can and be consistent and be persistent. Wait, like keep doing it until you get a response. And it may annoy some people and you may be called, like that saying that you're too persistent, but sometimes you have to be. You have to be willing to take that criticism that you're being too persistent and deal with whatever potential humiliation or shame might come from that. But then you'll be able to redouble your efforts. And this is about creative works. Don't take this advice about anything else in life. Please don't do this with women or significant others or partners. Come on. I don't know why I said come on. It's not like there's an endemic of, like, there's manosphere people, but that's, that's not a lot. Come on, guys. Stop being creepy. But yeah, condition yourself to understand that you may never hear a yes, you may never hear back, or you may be lied to actively, but keep doing the work. That's what's important. Just keep doing the work. I'm cleaning my glasses. Give me a second. The other thing is that a lot of people aren't. And I know that I cut that sentence off at the end, but the question is, how can I become a famous writer or creative? And that's the answer, is that most people aren't. I'm probably never going to be a famous writer or director or anything like that. It's not going to keep me from trying, but most people aren't. And if you bank on that, the fact that if you bank on the idea that you are, or that it's inevitable that you will be, you're going to be surprised when you fail. And that can be harmful. That can be really traumatic. And it can kind of like give a rude awakening. Like you could drop everything and move from the Midwest to LA and then have nothing pan out and end up doing pornography and giving handies under the freeway for zips of cocaine. All right? And nobody wants you to have to be doing that. Okay? You shouldn't have to be selling your body for zips of cocaine under the freeway. Okay? We don't want people doing that. All right? You would smell of sewage and Astroglide. The point is, maybe you're not as good as you think you are. And I know that I'm not. There's a lot of ego involved in my stuff. And I'm willing to acknowledge that, though I still think it's really good. But get used to hearing no. Just get used to it. Just understand that you are not the be all end all. You might not be the next Scorsese. You likely won't be. And be able to be comfortable with that idea, because then if it happens, it'll be a really great surprise. It'll be like, one of those dropping down to your knees saying, holy shit, I never thought it would happen to me. Sobbing into your John's lap. That because you probably already have resorted to selling your body. You know what I'm saying? Like, sex work should be legal, okay? It is the world's oldest profession. Why is there so much sex stuff today? Am I pent up? What's happening? Jesus fucking Christ. No, I think what it is that there's been like so much talk about like fucking gross sexual shit on the news lately that like it's like like wormed its way into my subconscious. It's fucking gross, dude. There was like this in Portland, or no, where was it? Aurora? Somewhere in Oregon. There's like this basketball team that like gang raped like other students in a high school, and like it's like some secret society bullshit. It was very unnerving to hear. So I've got like just traumatic shit on my mind. Ugh. Manifest somehow, right? Well, yeah. So I think if we were to go to the next section here, we would say, who should I pitch to? And, well, the answer to that is the most, what would you say, the most well-fitted people for the script. But that means to reach out yourself to these people / agencies. There's every chance that you'll hear a no / nothing at all, but ever important is to continue doing the work. That is the most important thing that you can do, is to keep doing the work. If you want to pitch an idea to Eric Kripke, message them on Instagram, and you are likely to not even get your message to them, because most of these people have strict security policies preventing random messages from random fans. This should not, however, prevent you from exhausting all known and common avenues of contact, as long as you sell the work and refrain from giving creepy vibes. You might get a response. You might have someone get back to you. Don't count it out until you've tried it. And there you go. There's my short lesson for today. It's 11:18. We can now go into something else, which I've been itching for it. Oh, I done had an itch. We're gonna change the title. Results of the poll. No, none of you guys are looking to sell a creative work. Come on. What's up with that? 3 votes. So 2 of you are not trying to sell, or 2 of you are not trying to sell a work. Come on. Where's your go get 'em attitudes? What was it? It was the Apologetics something. Yeah, Apologetics Roadshow. So I wanted to take a look. Damn, he fucking moves on so quick. So if you see, he's clearly trying to get a rise out of people. And it's all about, oh, here we go. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to talk about. So if you notice, this guy has a bit of a low opinion of not Christianity, Islam. Let's say, why do so many all right. Not film and animation, what? We've completed that segment. Yep. Okay. We're moving on to the second thing I wanted to talk about today. And that was about Christian support for MAGA. Could be the other way around too. I mean, the overlap is pretty stark. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the title and everything. Sorry. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Oh, God. Get it? Get it? Oh, God. You get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? I get it. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you see? All right, and then we put up a poll that says... And then we say, MAGA or Christianity. All right. We're now on to Theology Thursday. Theology. And I did want to change the Twitch información. I'm finally getting over my my sinus infection. Oh my gosh. It's been something else. Let me tell you, it's been something else. I have not been a fan of my I've not been a fan of my experience with sinus infections lately. It has been very not cool. Extremely not cool. Sinus infections suck. Ugh. Gross. Or, ooh, maybe we'll do this. There we go. Go extra inflammatory. What's the worst religion? Guys. Hey guys, what's the worst religion? Is anybody still here? No. Well, you know, what can you do? I knew that the first part of the stream was going to be boring. I just wanted to get that recorded, and you know, I have no hard feelings. I knew it was going to be like that. I feel fine. I'm totally fine. So if you aren't familiar with this guy, he's got the persecution complex down real pat. Persecution complex down pat. He's got it down pat. It's down pat, and it is patted up. It's all patted. It's down pat. It's up pat. It's left pat. It's right pat. It is just padded up. I have to move my family because of threats and doxing. So let's take a look at his oldest video. See what it looks like here. 23 minutes, fuck you.
Picture this. You win a trip to Egypt to see the Sphinx and the pyramids. You love ancient monuments, so you fly to Cairo. The smell is awful, but that won't stop you. You catch a yellow bus heading toward...
Already we're getting racist. Already. Like, do you believe in miracles? We got 13 seconds into this. Granted, we were going at 2.0 speed. But the racism has already started. You go to Cairo and it smells awful?
Ancient monuments, so you fly to Cairo. The smell is awful, but that...
Now, why would you say something like that? Are you just saying that because you've been to Cairo and you know, like, that beyond a shadow of a doubt that Cairo itself smells bad? Because it feels like racism. This feels like racism.
That won't stop you. You catch a yellow bus heading towards Giza. You're checking out the sights through the bus window when you suddenly realize that the guy sitting next to you is wearing a suicide vest. He's a terrorist, heading to the Sphinx to blow it up.
What?
Images are forbidden in Islam, unless you're a prepubescent girl, in which case they'll let you slide. Just ask Aisha. Your new jihadi friend doesn't want to draw attention to himself because he's on a mission. So he tries to distract you by asking, why do Christians call Jesus the Son of God? What do you say? Are you ready to answer him? Trust me, it's a good idea to plan out your response now before it happens. So, why do Christians call Jesus the Son of God? According to the Quran, Christians call Jesus the Son of God because we're imitating the pagans. Surah 9, verse 30. And the Jews say, Ezra is the son of Allah. And the Christians say, the Messiah is the son of Allah. That is the saying with their mouths. They imitate the saying of those who disbelieved of old.
So, if you didn't hear the setup, you've won a trip to Egypt, you fly into Cairo, and apparently the smell is terrible because brown people. You get onto a bus, and there just happens to be a suicide bomber on there because, I guess, Middle East. And then he said something about PDF files.
The pagans. Surah 9, verse 30. It's the Son of God. Why do Christians call Jesus your new jihadi friend suicide vest? He's a terrorist, heading to the Sphinx to blow it up. Because images are forbidden in Islam, unless you're a prepubescent girl, in which case they'll let you slide. Just ask Aisha.
So in with the Islamophobia pretty quickly. Pretty darn quickly. Hang on. So, immediately, racism, I guess xenophobia, allusions to pedophilia, which there's plenty of in the Bible, man. You guys worship the same God, according to all known sources.
Your new jihadi friend doesn't want to draw attention to himself because he's on a mission. So he tries to distract you by asking,
Are all images forbidden in Islam? And that didn't even relate to Aisha. He just said that it did. Like, he just kind of equated the two, like, for no reason. It's pretty gross.
why do Christians call Jesus the Son of God? What do you say? Are you ready to answer him? Trust me, it's a good idea to plan out your response now before it happens.
So he set up this hypothetical scenario where you've gone to Egypt, You're on a bus. There's a guy with an explosive vest on. And I guess for some reason he's asking you why Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God. I don't know why he'd ask that. But I guess let's continue. This is his oldest video, by the way. This is 3 years ago.
Why do Christians call Jesus the Son of God? According to the Quran, Christians call Jesus the Son of God because we're imitating the pagans. Surah 9, verse 30. And the Jews...
Kind of makes sense, though, doesn't it? Christians take a lot of stuff from the pagans. So it would make sense they took this too.
say Ezra is the son of Allah, and the Christians say the Messiah is the son of Allah. That is the saying with their mouths. They imitate the saying of those who disbelieved of old. Allah himself fighteth against them. How perverse are they? It's ironic that the Quran accuses Jews and Christians of imitating pagans when some of Islam's most basic practices, like taking the pilgrimage to Mecca, walking circles around the Kaaba, kissing the black stone, and so on, were copied directly from idol-worshipping pagans. But
so? Well, you guys do it too. What kind of argument is that?
Let's ignore that for now. So, Jews and Christians...
Why do we ignore that? I want to address it. You're just saying you do it too.
Are perverse because we imitate the unbelievers of old. This verse comes right after Surah 9, verse 29, where Allah commands his followers to violently subjugate Jews and Christians. Verse 30 provides the justification for subjugating us.
Where? What does it say? Really being brought up. Okay. Cool. I mean, Christianity fucking destroyed civilizations too.
Jews and Christians have to be subjugated because we're actually polytheists, according to the Quran. Strange. I thought Islam was the religion of peace. Of course, Allah says that Jews call Ezra the son of Allah. Have you ever, in your entire life, anywhere on the...
Well, it's almost kind of polytheism if you think about it. You know, y'all believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So 3 different entities all purporting to be some incarnation of God. That seems like polytheism, does it not? No?
Planet. Heard a Jew calling Ezra the son of Allah? Neither have I. Neither has anyone. So, as is so often the case, Allah doesn't seem to know what he's talking about when he's commanding his followers to violently subjugate people. But even though he's wrong about...
Yeah, along with all the contradictions in the Bible. Sure. Stop whatabouting.
Jews here. Is he right about Christians? Do Christians call Jesus the son of God because we're imitating the unbelievers of old? Or do we call Jesus the son of God because he was identified as the son of God by a mind-boggling, unparalleled cloud of witnesses? Let's find out. Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, and in Matthew 3, when Jesus comes out of the water, the Spirit of God descends as a dove, and a voice out of the heavens proclaims, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." A voice out of the heavens says, "This is my beloved Son," which means that the voice was the voice of the Father. But how do we...
That's a big leap. You don't know that. You don't even know that the words in the Bible are true.
Know whom the Father was referring to? How do we know he wasn't talking about John the Baptist or someone else? Well, the Holy Spirit descended from heaven and landed on Jesus. Notice, the Father and the Holy Spirit together identify Jesus as the Son of God. And
yeah, but as separate entities. They're all separate entities. You cannot be both the same person and different people. That's not how that works. God can't do that. Every Christian that I've talked to has said that, oh, God cannot create a sitting, standing man. Right. Okay, so he can't be 3 different individuals as well.
Jesus repeatedly identifies himself as the Son of God. At his trial, for instance, in Mark 14, the high priest asks him, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed?" Jesus answers, "I am, but you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming with the clouds of heaven." That
does not mean what he says it means. That's a guess. He's taking a guess.
So, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are in complete agreement that Jesus is the divine Son of God.
But what? You can't say that the Son agrees because the Son is the one in the equation here. Like, he doesn't get a vote. But he's also a separate entity from God as well as God.
In Luke 1, the angel Gabriel says to Mary, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High." Jesus is to be called the Son of the Most High,
which sounds just like a label, not an actual title, not an actual origin. I could make that interpretation of the Bible, just like you can make the interpretation that it means that he's the Son of God, and we could form different sects over it. I'll probably break off and you know, argue that with my parishioners, that with my flock, that that Jesus just had the title. Someone could call me son of hot dog. That doesn't mean that I am the son of a hot dog. Goose, son of hot dog. Son of New York City. Like, you can be the son of something without actually being the son of something. Son of Krypton?
According to the angel Gabriel. What about the prophets? John the Baptist was a prophet according to both Christianity and Islam. In John 1, he tells his followers about Jesus and says, I have seen and have borne...
Oh wait, so two of these ancient holy documents are congruent? Strange. Strange.
Witness that this is the Son of God. That's the testimony of the prophets. How about Jesus' apostles? At the end of John 1, the apostle Nathanael says to Jesus,
prophets who were just regular human beings? Any human beings capable of corruption. They could have been lying.
Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. In Matthew 16, Jesus asks his disciples, who do you say that I am? Peter answers, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Now, if Jesus were just a prophet, this would have been a really good time to rebuke Peter. Instead, Jesus says to him, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. In Matthew 14, Jesus walks on water during a storm. After stepping into the boat, the wind stops, and his disciples bow down and worship him, saying, truly, you are the Son of God. But it's not just his male followers who...
like, what? If somebody came along and did this today, would you believe him? I would love to hear a Christian weigh in on that. If somebody like that were just to come along and demonstrate these miracles, would you believe them? Let's say the Bible exists. It says Jesus is coming back, and it even gives like a rough time window, and then someone pops up in modern day and starts putting out TikToks or some shit. Would you believe him? Would you believe that that's the second coming of Christ? Because there are plenty of people on TikTok that believe that they are the second coming of Christ. And I would say probably not a good idea to follow them.
Call him the Son of God. In John 11, Lazarus dies, and Martha, the sister of Lazarus, meets Jesus on his way to raise Lazarus from the dead. We read, Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is coming into the world.
Trying to find a physics equation in the gospel is like trying to find, who's doing that, a cake recipe in a love letter. You're reading the right book, but you're looking for the wrong ingredients. What the fuck are you even trying to say? Did I try to find a physics equation in the gospel?
World. Martha and the apostles and John the Baptist,
that ain't what's happening here.
Who believed in Jesus, but even the Jewish leaders who rejected Jesus admitted that he was claiming to be the Son of God. At his crucifixion, they mocked him and said, he saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel, let him come down now from the cross and we will believe in him. He trusts in God, let God deliver him now if he desires him, for he said, I am the Son of God. So, whether they believed him or didn't believe him, the Jews of his time acknowledged that Jesus was claiming to be the Son of God. And even some of the Romans called Jesus the Son of God. When Jesus died by crucifixion, there was an earthquake, and the Roman centurion and those who were with him shouted, truly, this was the Son.
See, everyone's just kind of saying this is the Son of God. Like, what is the point here? Why on earth God the Creator makes any important if you know very well we all has to die? One, creation has no significance. None of what you're saying makes sense. Stop this nonsense. Neither gospel is a science book for NASA. What on earth are you trying to say? Do you want to use actual like English words and communicate? Because you're not doing that very well. Perhaps English is not your first language.
Son of God. Even demons would call Jesus the Son of God as he was casting them out of people. We read in Luke 4, and demons also came out of many, crying.
So it's just, there's never actually like, any evidence offered up, any proof that he actually is the Son of God. He just claims to be, and people just say that he is. So that's interesting. But really what I wanted to highlight was the racism and the xenophobia and just the blatant Islamophobia that this guy highlighted in their very beginning.
So you fly to Cairo.
Very
Smell is awful,
beginning
but
of
that
his
won't stop.
video.
You catch a yellow bus heading towards Giza. You're checking out the sights through the bus window when you suddenly realize that the guy sitting next to you is wearing a suicide vest. He's a terrorist heading to the Sphinx to blow it up because images are forbidden in Islam, unless you're a prepubescent girl, in which case they'll let you slide. Just ask Aisha. You're new.
I'm sorry, how many people on the Epstein list all claim to be Christians? Huh? Don't manipulate. You know very what I said. You are now a fraud. It didn't make any sense. It didn't seem like English. Do you hear the way that I'm speaking now? That is English. That is English with decent grammar, and you didn't use that. So if you can communicate in a way that allows me to understand what you're saying, then I'll happily address it. But I don't know why on earth God the Creator makes any important if you know very well we all has to die one. Are you saying that why is God important if we die? If we all know that we die? I don't know if that's what you were trying to say. Fuck off. Does it make sense? Well, fuck off makes sense, yeah. But if you're, if you're not going to try and help me understand what you're trying to say, then your words have no value. I would love to understand your point, but you haven't made one yet. Creation has no significance. I assume you just are saying that creation has no significance. And there's plenty of people who disagree with you. Stop this nonsense. I assume you mean stop the live stream, which no. Neither gospel is a science book for NASA, which I assume means that no book is good, that no Bible is good, no spiritual book is good, which I agree with. But I what you said first, trying to find a physics equation in the gospel, I didn't understand what that meant. Like, what are you accusing me of? I just don't know. If you want me to understand you, you're gonna have to say words that help me understand you. I'm just a normal person. I'm not like a mind reader. I can't discern your meaning just from the thoughts in your head.
Jihadi friend doesn't want to draw attention to himself because he...
So yeah, clearly racist, misconceptualize, just some really, really crazy fucking stuff. Then he releases a video. I don't know why I have his page open twice. Then he releases a video that says that a terrorist attacked his school. So let's see what he has to say about that.
Yesterday, a Muslim terrorist named Mohammed Jallo, a naturalized citizen from Sierra Leone, opened fire at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, killing one person and injuring two more. He would have done far more damage, but the students in the classroom charged him and beat and stomped and stabbed him to death.
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know what else to say, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
I went to college at Old Dominion University. I did a double major in biology and philosophy before heading off to graduate school. I met Nabil at...
So your alma mater, not your actual school. Let's hear that again. Right? So someone opened fire at assumed a university? I'm not sure. Someone opened fire.
Were able to terminate the threat.
And they were able to pile on the guy and get him down. Good job, guys. More tragedy was averted. Perfectly awesome. I totally agree with that. Justice served in my book. The thing that I have a problem with is that this guy has been leaning this apologetics roadshow. He's a Christian, by the way, guys. He's a Christian. He has made it his grift to make himself the target of things like doxing and threats, but he's lying. This is a lie. No one attacked his school, the school that he goes to or teaches at. Somebody attacked a school he used to go to. That is not a thing. That's like me saying someone shot someone shot somebody at the grocery store that I went to 6 years ago.
He was not shot.
I went to college at Old Dominion University. I did a double major in biology and philosophy before heading off to graduate school. I met Nabil at ODU. I met my wife at ODU. My wife and I had our first son while we were students at ODU. Most Americans remember where they were on 9/11.
Yeah, 'cause you did like a fucking double major. Of course you're going to be in school for fucking ever.
I was in the parking lot at ODU listening to the radio as the second tower came crashing to the ground. I started writing articles about Islam while I was at ODU. And now we've got jihadis screaming Allahu Akbar and shooting professors at ODU.
I can tell you that we have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he shouted, stated Allah Akbar.
Let's take a closer look at what happened and learn a bit more about the shooter and see if we can figure out what motivated him. Mohammed Jallow didn't wake up recently and decide to be a terrorist. He's been on the FBI's radar for a while.
And he was formerly a subject of an FBI investigation in material supporting.
But so he is delivering a news story. This is a news story, and it just happens to have been local to where he went to school. And that's totally okay, but the way he frames it is that he was at an active shooting. Just another example. Okay, me the dimwit? You're not even speaking in full sentences. How am I the dimwit? I'm speaking in correct grammar. You are not. If birth and death are the fixed bookends of a short story, the gospel is the life science. Okay, that also doesn't make sense. That makes the chapters in between worth reading. I've read the Bible twice. Jesus doesn't try to stop the clock. He just teaches you how to fill the minutes with a love that is too heavy for the wind of death to blow away. That's really poetic, but there's no proof that Jesus did any kind of miracles or even that God exists. You have a book to fall back on. So I don't know why even putting this flowery speech in between you telling me to fuck off, which isn't very Christian of you, and then calling me a dimwit while you use bad grammar is not very Christian as well. Bit hypocritical. What did he say about the hypocrites? And this is all just poetry. Like it's beautiful, but that's not what reality is. If birth and death are the fixed bookends of the short story, we live for like, I don't know, on average like 60-ish years. That's not really a short story. That's a whole lifetime that you can spend fulfilling yourself with religion too, but also the more beautiful things in life. And the gospel is a life science. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not rooted in any proof or evidence whatsoever. Life science? God is supposed to be the best biologist and the best doctor, but he doesn't know that only 40% of young women bleed their first time? And he thus then sentences women to death for no reason? He doesn't really seem like he knows much about biology, so I don't know why you would call it life science. That makes the chapters in between worth reading. And no, it doesn't make the chapters in between worth reading. The Bible is meant to be dense. Define love, then. I don't fucking know how to define love. I imagine that love is the result of physical attraction and assessing one's personality to see if they're a good fit for you. Defining love, I guess, would consist of saying like that it is part of a constituent of many different emotions that result from stimuli that our brain receives, delivers different chemicals, different parts of the brain that initiate physical responses like increased heart rate, flushed cheeks, increased perspiration, much the same as either fear or anger. That's why a lot of people say that tasting good food is supposed to be the scientific equivalent in our brains to feeling sensuality. But I don't specifically know how to define love. I'm not claiming to be an expert here. I don't know who you think you're talking to. I'm a random guy on the internet that you've now told to fuck off and called a dimwit when I've said in a very measured fashion, very civilly to you, that I want to understand your point. So you're not expressing the love of a Christian. Well, I guess you are. You're expressing what I've come to know as the love of a Christian. Why wouldn't you want to try and change my mind and bring me closer to Jesus? That means not being a dick right out the gate. And if my lack of religion taught me to be this empathetic to people who express rudeness to me, I don't know, maybe my lack of God is better than your God. And you're looking at this like a competition. Let's test your little brain. Like, who are you? I don't give a shit about your opinion. I'm here to have discussions about things and to give commentary to things that I see on the internet. If you don't like that, feel free to watch something else.
Terrorism.
In 2017, he was sentenced to 11 years in prison for providing material support to ISIS.
What kind of aid was he giving to ISIL 10 years ago?
He wanted to conduct a terrorist attack similar to that in Fort Hood, Texas.
Right. So again, one person who is a religious extremist. And it's not like there haven't been hundreds of years of religious extremism on the Christians' part. My phone is on silent. Oh, no, it's not. I got a notification from Instagram, and I've never heard the notification alert for Instagram, and I was like, what the fuck is that? It's crazy.
He wanted to carry out something similar to the Fort Hood massacre. That tells you a lot of what you'd want to know about him. There are different kinds of jihadis. There are jihadis who only want to target soldiers or future soldiers. They target military bases or military events. That's what U.S. Army Major Nadal Hassan did at Fort Hood in
Yep, that's what extremists do. They tend to try to take out military targets. Yeah. Japan, in the lead up to Pearl Harbor, they sent people in disguise as tourists, and they had them take pictures like tourists. They had them act as tourists, but they were just spies for the Japanese army. They were just gathering reconnaissance. So yeah, and same thing with 9/11. Like, I believe that the jihadists from 9/11, they had the research, but this doesn't all just mean that Islam is bad. Like, I'm sure that you could look at the Bible, for instance, and find quite a few examples of pretty naughty things that God ordered people to do. Just like you can look at the Quran and be like, that's pretty shitty. Right? It's almost like both your books suck. For different reasons.
Then there are jihadis who don't care if they're killing soldiers as long as they're killing non-Muslims. But they don't, under any circumstances, want to kill practicing Muslims.
Blah, blah, blah. I really don't want to listen to this guy talking for 14 minutes. We're just giving context, okay, to this Christian man who is, within the first 13 seconds of the previous video that we watched, he was talking about how brown people smell bad and about how all of them are terrorists. Have you defined love yet or not? You weren't listening? What way do you expect me to deliver it? Because I gave you my definition of love. So I don't know what more you're asking for. At this point it's clear you're just trolling. So Spent like 5 minutes talking about it.
Jihadis target concerts or Christmas markets because they don't think any real Muslims will be there. And there are jihadis who don't mind killing Muslims as long as the Muslims are collateral damage. They'll target places like the World Trade Center, knowing that Muslims...
No, I missed it. Real convenient for you.
For years, we've been arguing with our Muslim friends about Muhammad's marriage to a girl too young for a bra. For years, we've been trying to convince them that Allah...
Right, like there weren't child brides in Christianity. Never. Nah. None whatsoever. Wisdom, why are you here? We're not having open discussions. I mean, you are not having an open discussion. You're trying to, gotcha me for no reason. Like I said, I'm just some random dude on the internet. You have no reason to be antagonistic towards me. And I said also that maybe your God sucks if my lack of God makes me more empathetic towards people, to not just call them dimwit for no reason, to not tell them to fuck off for no reason. And now you're asking me to repeat an explanation that I gave you for a question that I shouldn't even be entertaining. That's just rude, man. Like, how are you so okay with being so rude for no reason? That's a shame. It's a shame. I would like to have good communal discussions between people who disagree. I would love to do that. But it's people like you who prevent that. And you make me not want to engage. Well, with you, I mean. I'm still willing to engage with people who do so in good faith.
Shouldn't have promoted sex with prepubescent girls in the Quran.
I mean, okay, tell me love versus respect versus kindness. What? Why are you trying to test me? What is this going to achieve for you? I guess if I'm assuming that you're doing this in good faith, that you really just want to know my opinion on these things, then I would say that kindness is a result of empathy and humans not wanting each other to suffer. Respect is a thing that is earned. Love is the result of a constituent number of different emotions that I guess can include both respect and kindness. Your respect for a person can cause you to fall in love with them. A person who you are expressing kindness towards could cause you to either respect or love somebody. I think the Venn diagram of love versus respect versus kindness overlaps quite a bit. Respect and kindness can both be acts of love. Like, I don't know what you want from me, honestly. I'm trying to entertain your question, but if you could just get to the end of your gotcha, then we can address that. If you think that atheists have no moral core, clearly I do, because I'm not being as rude to you as you were to me. There's some morality right there. If you're trying to prove that atheists blank, just get to the blank, and then I can address whatever your actual concern is. Because I don't know if you knew this, but atheists do have a concept of love. Like, I love my wife. So I don't know if this is news to you, but I don't even know if that's what you were getting at. Because remember, before you weren't making sense, and then you told me to fuck off, and then you called me a dimwit. And now you're actually trying to, like, test me on the concept of love? Like, does this seem like kindness to you?
For years,
I don't think so.
We've been telling them that when Muhammad promised his followers an eternity of deflowering virgins in paradise, he was just duping a bunch of gullible degenerates into fighting his battles for him.
I'm fairly certain that in Christianity, it's usually ideal if the woman is a virgin when you marry her. I think that is the going policy. That may only be one particular section of Christianity. I'm not sure if that's all of Christianity, but I think that is kind of a universal thing. Like, they like people to be virgins before they get married. And they like people to marry young. So I don't know. The average age of brides back in the day of, like, you know, the Old Testament was something like around like 12 to 15. So, like, they get them young. I mean, it's not like 9, but that's still a child.
And what did we get for all our hard work? No gratitude whatsoever. The Dawa guys doubled down defending sex with children. They tripled down. They quadrupled down.
Well, what they were doing was defending their religion, which is what exactly this guy would do if somebody was to call out the terrible things that God instructed in the Bible. Not to mention the actual atrocities in real life, like I'm sure he would call out too from the Dawa guys, which are... There's this whole drama between him and some Muslim or Islam or whatever. Wrong definition of love. I didn't define it. I said I cannot define it. If you had listened to me the first time, I said I cannot define love. I don't know what the definition of love is. I would have to Google it. Saying love almost the same as kindness, empathy, you know nothing about what the fuck you're talking. And what you're doing right now sounds like kindness. Like you're being rude for no reason again. Like what's the point of you being here? What's the point of you being in somebody's stream that you don't know, talking about a subject that you are not seemingly aware of or care about? What's the point of that? What do you get out of it? I hope you don't call yourself a Christian, because this is not tolerance. Nor is it empathy, nor is it kind. And yeah, empathy is a pretty natural thing for people. Humans don't want to see each other suffer, and humans want to survive. Therefore, atheists have moral drives. I'm sorry that this is the first that you're hearing about it. Remember, only one of us has been rude so far. It'd be great for you to show your empathy.
On top of this one topic, like
or do you have
the
any?
Zut were piled on top of Muhammad. They just wouldn't listen.
And if you're saying that I know nothing about what the fuck you're talking, like, you haven't even listened to anything that I've said. So how would you know that I'm accurate or not? You're not listening to me. You didn't listen when I explained to you the first time what love is. Yeah. Again, you're just trolling. Right? You're calling me an idiot. And you think that that makes you look good? The main part of kindness is kindness has boundaries, which gospel says. I mean, I don't know why you think this is like a mic drop moment. It really is not. It just makes you look ignorant.
But I eventually realized
sorry that you have to endure life this way.
Is the language barrier. I don't mean English versus Arabic. I mean they didn't agree with the words we were using. They didn't agree with how we were using words like rape and pedophilia and molestation and incest and so on.
Right, because you intentionally did that to make people dislike the religion specifically for that one part. Just like you would have done if anybody did the same thing as anybody else would have who is deeply religious. Your definition of respect needs to be earned is correct. I'm not defining anything. I don't know why you think that I'm defining anything. You need to stop saying that I'm defining anything. I am not defining anything. I have not tried to define anything. The only point that I've made so far is that you're being unnecessarily rude for no reason. If you don't address that, and we can move on from that, then I'll probably just kick you from the channel. But I don't welcome people in here who are antagonistic for no reason. If you can give me a reason, nope. See, we're just gonna say bye to you. If you don't want to be here in good faith, you can't be here at all.
Became a serious obstacle to clear communication and moral progress. Fortunately, the entire time...
I know that it sounds contradictory, but I will not tolerate intolerance on this, my channel. So I hope that your next words are wise and more collaborative than they are antagonistic. But I'm fairly certain they won't be.
The solution to this problem was in the Quran. In Surah 3, verse 64, Allah commanded Muhammad to say, "O people of the book, come to common terms as..."
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, bye.
Between us and you. Come to common terms. Common terms.
If you aren't aware of what they said, if you don't know what love is, I do know what love is. I love my wife. Then why you judge gospel? Because the words are all right there. The words are all right there for us to read. We can see the contradictions. We can see the hypocrisy. If you don't have a concept of love, then you wouldn't know whether or not you love someone. It would just feel like strong attraction or infatuation. But I did define it the first time. You just suck at listening.
That's what was missing from our discussions with our Muslim friends. But
now you'll never be able to enter a discourse with me again. And that's really a failing on your part. That sucks that we won't actually be able to talk about something serious. Because you're just caught up in trying to own someone, some random guy on the internet. Because I happen to have an anti-religious channel. Sucks for you.
Needed to bridge the language divide were some common terms. And now, thanks to our friends on Team Dawa, we finally have the common terms we so desperately needed.
Dear God.
As many of you know, in a recent live stream, I began sharing things about my past that no one knew and that no one would have ever heard about had I not shared them. I admitted publicly that when I was 18 years old, out on bond after attacking my father with a hammer, I had sex with 2 post-pubescent but underage girls.
What? What is he talking? What? What? Hang on, this Christian man just admitted to the same thing that he's accusing these Dawa bros of. Like, what the fuck?
Publicly, that when I was 18,
Hang on.
I passed, that no one knew. And recent live stream, I began sharing.
I need to know what the I wasn't listening before, but I need to know what the fucking context is. Welcome, XV, by the way.
Many of you know, in a recent, he's so desperately needed. As many of you know, in a recent live stream, I began sharing things about my past that no one knew, and that no one would have ever heard about had I not shared them.
Okay, but what led you to do this? What led to this?
I admitted publicly that when I was 18 years old, out on bond, after attacking my father with a hammer, I had sex with 2 post-pubescent but underage girls.
Oh!
8 years old and one was 15 years old. It was shameful, immoral, evil. But sometimes...
Why weren't you in jail you were 18? I gotta assume that you live in a state with Romeo and Juliet laws. Like, what the fuck? Why would you admit this on your YouTube channel? You didn't go to jail for this. What are you doing, good sir?
something positive can eventually emerge from something tragic.
You did it! You don't get to say that something good came out of it. You did it! You're the one that got the thing out of it!
For instance, the death of a loved one might bring together...
Oh, no!
...and haven't spoken to each other for years. The tragedy might make them realize that there are more important things than holding grudges.
But it was you being a pediophile! It was you! You're now saying that it was good for the world? What the
This
fuck?
could lead to...
Just so you know, the first girl he mentioned was 13!
reconciliation. So, if we want to look on the bright side of my open, honest confession of the sins of my youth, I think we'll see that whatever short-term friction my confession may have caused, it also provided the perfect opportunity to come to common terms with our Muslim friends.
Now you're saying that all Muslims, the religion of Islam, is as bad as you when you were 18, and that's somehow a point that you should be making? Well, at least it's not as bad as the Muslims. By the way, I raped a 13 and 15-year-old. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? No, that I think the statute of limitations on that has way passed by now. Because he said that he was out on bond for attacking his father with a hammer. He had just gotten out on bond for attacking his dad with a hammer when he raped a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. But my guess is that it's been much too long for anyone to prosecute him, which is why he feels comfortable admitting that. I mean, legally, from a legal standpoint. No, it doesn't matter if he admitted to it. The statute of limitations, thank fucking the Lord, I haven't been involved in anything like this, but so clearly I wouldn't know the statute of limitations, so we have to look it up. Holy fuck! What's the, I don't want to have me searching for that on screen. What's the statute of limitations for, what would you call that? Sex abuse? Windows for survivors to sue up to age 40 or years after. Okay, so if he did this in like certain states, he could still get sued. I mean, that's something. I mean, I hope that the victims are trying to do something. Jesus fucking Christ, man. First he tried to kill his dad, and then he went and raped some kids. And he said that on a live stream.
We've never been able to agree on the meanings of certain words.
That are things that you did!
Until now. What words would our Muslim friends use to describe an 18-year-old man having sex with underage girls? Let's find out. Because moving forward,
why are we still
these will
talking?
be
Why
our
are we still
common
talking?
terms forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Daniel Hakikachu, the world's leading defender of child marriage, posted, David Wood recently admitted to raping 2 underage girls and forcibly sodomizing them. He hid this from his audience for decades and only revealed it after others threatened to go public. That's strange. No one was going to reveal anything because no one knew about it. Weird how
No, David. David, no. No, David. Oh, Dave. Oh, Dave. No. No. Please, Dave.
can hand these guys a confession to attack me with, deliver it to them on a silver platter, and they still have to lie. But let's ignore that and focus on our
But the thing that was true about it was you graping underage girls. That's not the part that you're addressing. You're just addressing that they said that that other people were going to go public. That's the part that you're contesting. You're not contesting the part where you graped the underage girls. Holy shit, Dave. Holy shit. Please, Dave. You're stop digging the hole.
common terms. I admitted to having sex with 2 minors.
Stop saying that. Stop saying it. You gotta stop saying it. You gotta stop saying it. Frame it as my mistakes. Frame it as the things I did wrong. But really, you gotta stop describing it. I think it's time for you to just put some of that dirt back on that hole. Unless you're ready to climb in it. Because holy shit, dude.
Forcible about it. But since girls that young can't meaningfully consent to
Oh, no! No, it's getting worse. Oh my God, did you hear how I put that word in quotations? Oh my God. Oh my God. Just so we're all clear, if you are an adult and you have sex with a minor, that it's called grape. We know that it's not called grape, but it's called grape for the sake of YouTube. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then he keeps framing it like, oh, well, I was 18 and I had sex with 2 minors. What the fuck? Why are you still talking about it? Why?
But them, according to Daniel Hakikachu, should be called rape.
Yes! Yes, that's the word that is the legal term for what you did. What is happening? what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And he even said, and he italicized meaningful consent. He italicized it.
Them. He hid this from his audience for decades. Me with. Deliver it to them on a
Listen,
silver platter.
listen.
And they still have to lie. But let's ignore that and focus on our common terms. I admitted to having sex with 2 minors.
Hey, Daddy, how's it going?
There was nothing forcible about it. But
Yes, it's always forced. It's forced. If they're underage, they can't consent. Holy fuck. They're children. What the fuck?
since girls that young can't meaningfully...
Why did you italicize it? Why did you put emphasis on the word meaningfully? You still think they can consent? Oh, David. David, please. David. Oh, my God. Oh, why do you think this is good content? Oh, fuck. Oh, my God, David. Why are we doing this, David? Oh, shit.
Consent to sex with an adult, sex with them, according to Daniel Hikikachu, should be called rape.
Because as time moves on, we learn that these things are not okay, and then we make laws against them with legal terms like grape. Like, holy fuck, dude. Holy fuck. Why? He's trying to equate himself to, what, Muhammad now? What the
Strong
fuck?
language, but for the sake of solidarity and progress, I accept Daniel's use of the words rape and forcible.
What? So Muslims do it, so it's okay that I did it. What the fuck? What the fuck?
And
How does this man exist?
Daniel has another contribution. Why is Turning Point USA platforming a confessed pedophile to teach courses on faith? Good question.
That is a good question. Why are they doing that?
But even better than his question is Daniel's use of the word pedophile.
No. He's whatabouting it. Well, what about you guys? He's not refuting. He's whatabouting. He's saying that you guys did it, so it's okay. Or he's saying, don't be the one. We shouldn't call the pot black, okay? Is this the kettle calling the pot black? Is it? Like, what the fuck? No, we don't even know that those books are true. We don't even know if the books are correct, or if they've proven to be correct, or if they depict actual events, but you admitted to real, actual grape and pedophilia. You are saying that on the internet. You're saying that in your videos, and you've said that in your live stream, and you're now admitting to it, and you're saying that you're willing to accept the terms. Because of a man that you can't even prove existed. Did that in a book that you can't even verify is correct. Because it contradicts your book that you are so staunchly defensive of that you'll admit to pedophilia to protect. Oh. I'm getting heartburn. I need to get some water. Oh my God. God. Oh, David. Davy boy, David. Oh, my Lord, David. If the Bible ends up not being true, you're fucked, my dude. if the Bible ends up not being correct, and you can't verify that because Muslims did it for their false book, that it's okay that I do it. Like what the fuck, man? What is even your rationale? Trying to desensitize people to it? Trump does the same shit.
File. According to Daniel Hakikachu, any adult man who...
According to one person, you are now willing to just freely admit that you had sex with underage girls. Because of one person, you're like, oh, well, here's a gotcha. Since you use the word grape in PDF file, that's I get to now use. I'm gonna accept that, and then I'm gonna turn it right back on you and say, well, isn't that Muhammad? Isn't he a bad guy too?
has sex with a girl who's 13 years old or 15 years old or younger is a pedophile. His word choice, not mine.
That's what you're called. That's what you are if you do these things. That's what you are called. That's what you did. That's what you are. Wait, that's the actual technical term. We didn't have that term back then. This is a technical term for you.
But let's see if Daniel's fellow Muslims agree with these terms. Here's Muhammad Hijab, Christian anti-Islam apologist David Wood's admission of raping 13-year-old Rebecca.
Yes. You did this in real life. And these guys are trying to protect their religion. Yeah, of course they're using language that incenses you, but you fucking did these things. You actually did, and you admitted! You admitted!
Rebecca has been met with silence and justification by the Christian community. Silence and justification? There's been no silence and no justification.
Yes, you did! You just tried to justify it by saying, girls that age cannot meaningfully consent. What?
This man has broken the law and put Rebecca in serious danger. Religious concepts, including sola fide, do not affect legal responsibility and the rights of others. Is this guy drunk again? This was a Muslim. We all know what would be said about it. So, Muhammad...
What is that? Sola fide? Is a foundational Protestant Reformation doctrine asserting that sinners are justified before God solely by faith in Jesus Christ, entirely apart from the good works or human merit. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, Christianity is an escape for a lot of people. Like, they do that in order to... the volume's up as far as I can put it, unfortunately. There's a lot of, like, I'm joining Christianity so that I can get a free ticket into heaven sort of stuff.
Hijab agrees that any adult who has sex with a girl 13 years old or...
But you're talking about a fictional prophet with a fictional wife who is a child, while you in real life had sex with minors and are admitting it on stream. Have admitted it on stream, but are now admitting it that you admitted it on stream in this video where you're admitting it again and then justifying it and then saying that you're not justifying it. And then accepting the terms grape and PDF file and that force, and that you also said forcefully. You also said you'll accept forcefully. You're accepting those.
Or younger is guilty of rape. Good to know.
But it's not, this is not a tit for tat. This is not a tit for tat. They're fictional. David, you're real. David, you're a real person. You really did these things. David, please.
Jake Brancatella, a.k.a. Jake the Muslim metaphysician, writes, new video. David Wood admits he raped 2 young girls. So Jake agrees
please,
that 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds should be described as young girls, not as women. And he agrees that any adult who has sex with a young girl is guilty of rape.
Yes!
Paul Williams of
True.
Theology declares, apologist David Wood confesses he raped girls prior to his conversion.
True!
Paul here might have been a bit more forgiving if this had been about boys instead of girls, but...
It doesn't matter! Holy shit, it doesn't matter. But that guy over there is raping people. What the fuck? What the fuck? You think there's any distinction? No. It's not like we're saying, oh, well, we're going to protect the Christian PDF files. We're going to protect the Christian rapists, okay? We're going to protect all the Christian ones, all the Muslim ones. They get to go, to hell or whatever. You did these things in real life, man.
But he agrees that 13-year-old and 15-year-old females should be called girls, not women, and that sex with them is, by definition, rape. Ijaz Ahmed, you should hear the racial slurs he uses against Hispanic people, writes, David Wood admits to being a pedophile.
So, because this guy's a racist, that means that any news that he delivers about this guy being a PDF file is illegitimate. He admitted it. He admitted it. Why aren't you... You admitted it! David! David!
File and committing 2 acts of statutory rape.
Dude.
Not clickbait. He actually says it. It all makes sense now. Ijaz is technically correct when he says that sex with teenage girls is statutory rape.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Why are you conceding any point? Like, you should not be saying any of that. What are you doing? What are you doing? In some states, you can still be sued. Like, I'm happy to see you get sued. It would be great to see you get thrown in fucking jail. But what the fuck? If you are a smart person at all, which I guess you wouldn't be if you're an apologist, but... Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord above Jesus and the Holy Spirit.
And that this is what I admitted, but we're going to have to...
Why is there different types of grape? Aren't they all essentially the same thing? Yeah. But there's a lot of PDF files in our society, and a lot of them help build our society. And we go through redefining what consent is and what the age of consent is over the several hundred years of our existence here on the earth. Yes, they're all essentially the same thing. If someone's too young to consent, or if someone is in a position where they can't consent, then it is just grape. But there are nuances to that because of all the bullshit politics I said before. Vlog music? I guess that kind of counts, right? It's royalty free, so...
toss out the word statutory because his fellow Muslims all prefer the much simpler word rape. So we'll stick with rape.
But this is you trying to put an own on Muslims, where it's the whole thing with Aisha is a fictional story, very likely fictional story, depicting 2 very likely fictional characters, even though it was very common back then for girls or women, girls, I meant to air quotes women, for women to get married from 9 to 12 to 15 years old, which is gross and still a child, but that was the norm at the time, and you guys use, well, it was the norm all the time to fucking justify things like slavery, genocide, and ethnic cleansing. So the fact that you guys wouldn't be best fucking buddies with these guys, considering the fact that you also love child brides, is fucking insane. But this dude is talking about a fictional thing in a book that nobody can verify that is correct or true or actually depicts events that happened, and then he's using his own real life grape that he did to underage girls as justification for why that book is bad. This doesn't make sense.
Jazz also agrees that a man who has sex with a 13-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl, or, obviously, an even younger girl, should and must be called a pedophile. Next, we have the new face of Dawa and...
It doesn't matter if they were just doing it hyperbolically. You are legally a PDF file. You are legally a grapist. Those are things that a court could find true because you're admitting to them.
a rising star in the Marry Your First Cousins movement, Junior,
Again, does not delegitimize the words that he's using.
who says, David Wood, ladies and gentlemen, the most popular Christian apologist, the predator who fabricated the Al-Zut story. We got the story from Muhammad's companion Abdullah ibn Masud, who was watching the entire time.
But then none of this makes what you did okay. None of it. None of this makes what you did okay.
So I'm not sure how we fabricated it for him.
Fucking
A pedophile
being here? What
who
the
insults our beloved prophet. He proudly says, I had sex with 2 girls, 13 and 15. So, Junior agrees that a man who has sex with a 13-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl, or
B?
obviously an even younger girl, should and must be labeled a pedophile and
I feel like this is a B.
predator.
Is that? It looks like it's as big
Finally,
as a B.
we have one Dawa who says, David Wood is a disgusting pedo. This is the same guy who has been attacking Islam for decades, yet he himself is guilty of
Is
what
there a
he
B in here?
accuses Islam of. Not quite. There were no 9-year-old girls or prepubescent girls in my confession.
They were still children. It doesn't matter if they were post-pubescent. What the fuck? Why does he see one news segment in which that fucking bitch who hates her children talks about how ephebophilia is like totally okay? Like he sees that and then he posts this and he's like, yeah, they'll respect me now. Yep. What the fuck? What the fuck, Dave? David? Dave! What are you doing?
So, interesting choice of words from the Dawa community. Some of you may be uncomfortable with such strong language, but who are we to question the hikmah?
Some of you may be uncomfortable with such language, even though that's what he is. Even though that he admitted to those things. How does he think this is a win? I'm so confused. I'm so confused how he's like mic dropping right now. What the fuck?
Of our Muslim friends. We're here to come to common terms. And thanks to some good old-fashioned hard work, we finally have our common terms. According to Team Dawa, any man who has sex with a girl, yes, a girl, not a
According to the law, but do go on.
woman, 15 years old or younger, should be called a pedophile, a pedo, a predator, and a rapist. Since young girls can't meaningfully consent to sex...
Stop italicizing it! Stop italicizing meaningful! What the fuck?
Any sexual activity
Oh
with
my
them,
God, dude.
even if the girls are willing participants.
He just spent 5 minutes talking about how he wasn't going to justify it, and now he's justifying it. Oh, Dave. Oh my God. David.
Should be called rape and interpreted as forcible. These words are now the official binding common terms between Muslims and Christians. No, my Muslim friends, you can't take them back. Not now, not ever.
Why do you think this is a win for you? Why do you think this is somehow good in any way, shape, or form? You've admitted on a live stream and now that you had sex with underage women, that you raped, that you PDF filed. Like, what the fuck, dude?
And as we move forward in our discussions for years to come, everyone will refer back to this video whenever you object to the common terms that we've permanently agreed upon. Of course, using terms like rape and pedophile and predator in the ways we've agreed upon might be new for some people, especially for Muslims. But as any language expert
How is
can
this?
tell you,
How is this 44 minutes long? How is this 45 minutes long? How is this video 45 minutes long? Oh my god. Oh my god. How many times is he going to admit to having sex with underage girls in this video? Oh my god. How is this a 45-minute long video? What the fuck, man? How is nobody talking about this right now? This is okay 3 months ago, but like, I didn't hear about any of this at the time, and I'm a big fan of I guess now I recently learned that I'm a big fan of lol cows. I like watching internet drama, but what the fuck? Why did you think this was a good idea to put out? Like, why? Why? If you guys remember that Always Sunny with let me see if I can find that clip. Who's that guy? Tom Sizemore. Always Sunny. Tom Sizemore. It is such a good clip. Like, you gotta see it.
You boys are awfully dressed up.
Oh, yeah, the tuxes. Sure, yeah, well, we're on our way.
I have to pause it and talk about it so that I can make sure that I'm falling within the terms of fair use. So this is Always Sunny. This is, I think, season 4 or 5. They're going to a fundraiser, and they have met a trucker while their car is broken down. They've met a trucker. They've done some hitchhiking. And the trucker's like, it seems kind of weird what he's talking about. Like, when he first picks them up, he's like, hey, Mr. Sexy, or something like that. I don't remember, but I think it might have been at the end of the episode. But it's a good moment.
To Atlantic City for a charity event.
You kind of threw me with those outfits.
Yeah.
Don't usually find lot lizards out in the wild.
Now, if you're unfamiliar, he's about to describe what a lot lizard is, but because, again, I'm trying to make sure that we're within fair use here. A lot lizard is, as I understand it, is a sex worker. So clearly things are taking a turn.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a little behind on my trucker terms. A lot lizard would be a...
A lizard? You know, truck stop horse.
So he picked them up, assuming that's what they were, and now they're caught up.
I mean...
No.
Oh, man, not taken because we're not whores.
No, we're not prostitutes.
Definitely not a lizard.
No.
Hey! Your secret's safe with me. Don't worry, too. I'm not a cop.
We're not.
I'm not gonna judge you either. Man's got
We're not, though.
to make a living. Looking the way you do, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Oh, I appreciate that. But again,
I'll speed it up, too. Just making sure. Just to make sure.
Lizards,
not prostitutes.
Save your seduction for someone else. Oh, God, do not tangle with lizards. No more. No.
No more? No more? What?
Back in the day, sure, I would indulge. Hell, I wouldn't let you turn me into Swiss cheese.
If you don't know what that means, wait a few years, and then maybe you'll be old enough to understand.
I wouldn't let you make me into a mailbox. Just open the slot and put whatever you want inside. Not no more. I got a laugh now. So I will not suck you, and I will not be sucked on by you. Okay? That's it.
I say 10-4.
Yeah, we read you loud and clear. And just to reiterate, we don't suck on people. We own a bar.
You want a bar?
You in a bar?
I'm sure you do.
I'm sure. Yeah, right. I'm sure you do.
Sure you do.
Yeah.
How far are we from Atlantic City? It's a long ride.
Long way from Atlantic City.
Still got a ways, huh?
Yeah.
And obviously, he doesn't take them to the Sheridan or whatever, where the fuck they're going. Instead, he takes them to a seedy motel. Only reason I'm commentating on it is because we're trying to stay within fair use here, so I don't get copyright struck.
Okay. This is us right here.
Great, yeah, thanks. No, we were hoping to be dropped off at a casino, though. It's just a motel.
I know. I thought we would slip into a room, and you could check my oil.
You can see where I get a lot of my sense of humor from.
Oh, no. What happened, man? No, I'm sorry. No.
Shoot, hell, maybe I knew I wanted him when I
Oh,
gave him a
Byron.
ride.
No,
Yeah, but
I think it's what his name.
remember
Byron, yeah.
Byron, you've changed. You don't want this kind of thing
No,
anymore.
I do want this kind of thing.
No, you don't. You would not suck me in. You would not be sucked by us.
I take that back. I don't mean that.
You can't take that back, Byron. Don't take back, Byron. Think about your wife. Remember, you said you love your wife.
I do,
Good.
but
Good.
I got cash in my pocket. I got desire in my heart, and I'm a frothing in the foam, and I was
I'm a frothing and a foaming.
hey, I got an idea. What do you say? We slip into a room, and you two split me open like a coconut.
And this is the part that is coming up that I was basing my last joke on.
Dennis, what are we saying?
We say no. We're gonna say no.
No, why?
Why? Why? Why? No, why?
Oh my God, dude, another kill. Yeah.
Should lock my damn door. Should lock the door.
But why? Why?
When you're learning how to use words, the best approach is practice, practice, practice.
I'm sure you got a lot of that practice when you were learning all the legal terms for the underage grape you were doing that you admitted to.
So, to get some practice using our common terms, let's look at a few passages about Muhammad's relationship with Aisha. Then,
And then this is his big mic drop moment where he thinks he's finally owning the Muslims. But all he's done is cement his existence as a PDF file and a grapist. That is insane that he would be willing to torpedo himself so wildly, so absolutely. He's willing to obliterate any credibility that he might have left as a creator to protect his book. The fuck? God damn, dude.
for even more practice, we'll see what the Quran says about sex with prepubescent girls.
Fuck. I'm not going to listen to this for 45 minutes. Fuck. I'll skip around,
Is
I
to play
guess.
with the dolls in the presence of the prophet.
Gross, dude. And he's trying to make this sound like he's okay being a PDF file because the Muslims did it.
A pedophile, a predator, and a rapist. And we have to say that this pedo forcibly raped a prepubescent little girl. Their words, not mine. But what about the Quran verse that will call...
Holy fuck, dude. In case you're wondering and can't read what I wrote, their words, not mine, but it's literally the thing you did. We cannot substantiate any religious document, and you admitted to, in modern day, these horrible things. I hope the statute of limitations hasn't passed and they sue the ever-living fuck out of you. You deserve jail time. Fuck, man.
already cited. Surah 65 verse 4 is a little confusing if you don't know what it's about. So here's a crash course. Earlier in the Quran, Surah 2, verse 228, Allah revealed that if a Muslim man divorces his wife, she has to go through 3 monthly menstrual cycles before she can remarry. But the question later arose, what about wives who don't have monthly menstrual cycles, either because they're too old, or too young, or too pregnant? Since they don't have monthly periods, how long do they have to wait before they can remarry? Allah answers this question in Surah 65, verse 4, which reads,
There's a MAGA streamer who screams and calls people slurs all stream. It's amusing. Gross. What is it? You said Linzer show? Is it on Twitch? Linzer? Nope, this looks like one of those lady streamers? One of those lady streamers? Is this one of those lady streamers? I'll check it out if you tell me where it is. Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay. I really don't want to listen to this guy talk more about how much of a PDF file he is. But he's who I wanted to talk about today. She's live. Lynn. Hey, Angel, what's up? How you doing? Only Patriots. Oh no, that's the live. That's the live. That's the live.
Thank you. I appreciate it. In the real world.
Now, I remember using a term on the stream before to describe myself, and goddamn 174. How the fuck do I get 174 viewers? Jesus fucking Christ. But I guess I gotta grow tits and get lip injections and I guess buccal fat removal and Ozempic in order to do that. And 13K subscribers. Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck, man. Guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're supposed to be my street team here. Fuck, man.
In here, I discriminate. Too retarded for words.
You don't have to say those words, you know. Like, you know, it's not an obligation for you to use words like that just to
Oh, is he?
pass the grift on.
Saying? You're a doomer. You're not welcome here.
I hope she's actually banning people.
Oh, no drug talk. Drug talk's blocked. Guess what else is blocked? You start talking about fucking Israel and owning Trump, you're blocked. You start talking about Jews, you're blocked. I don't want to motherfucking hear it. New wars, you're blocked. Because you're stupid and uneducated and you don't know what's going on. Take a look around.
No, I mean, he did in fact say that there would be no new wars. He promised that. That was part of his whole platform.
Don't. No, there's no safe space here. No crying here.
You are blocking people you don't agree with. I remember I had a sub in middle school who'd love to say the R slur. A lot of like average people who you would never expect to say the R slur are really free with it. Like there are people like nowadays who I'll see who will just openly use it like, oh man, that's R worded. I'm like, I thought we were past this. I thought we all moved past this. I thought that we came together and we all decided we weren't going to say that anymore. You know, like, weird. I thought that was the cultural zeitgeist.
Like you.
So, I mean, if you're saying that this is not a safe space and you're creating a safe space, I gotta call, that's really funny. And then you're calling other people uneducated. Aww.
So I almost have enough money to pay my phone bill because I'm broke. I'm a loser.
Yeah, you guys, I bet you she's getting quite a lot of money from this. She probably also sells feet pics or some shit. You know, if the show is called Only Patriots, come on. You know what's happening. You know what's going on. You know what's going on there. You know there's a little bit of something, a little bit of something, a little bit of something, there's a little bit of something. I'm just guessing, but it's probably a pretty good guess. I have not been charging my phone this entire time. How dare I? Get in there. Get in there, old Nass and D Black.
I got nowhere else to go. Yeah, like who cares what anybody looks like anyways? Who fucking cares?
Says the woman who got lip injections and buccal fat removal and went on Ozempic. Like, come on. Wears a bunch of makeup? Like, what? You don't care what people look like?
Someone like me would get free drugs, though, if we're going to talk about it. I mean, have you seen me? Oh my God, I fucking love you guys. I was kidding, but thank you. I mean, I'm not kidding. I am broke. I'm a broke dick dog, and it is embarrassing, but I don't lie about it. Nothing is free. You're right. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. In all realness. I know I joke around a lot, but I really am in need of money. This is my yeah, this is a cigarette one. That's the hardest thing. I quit for
Well, thank you for showing me such a classy channel, Skippy. Also, thank you for reminding me how small my viewership is compared to shitty people. Well, it just goes to show you that, you know, maybe the world doesn't want to hear educational and nice things, or at least anti-religious things.
And those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses. For them,
Jesus fuck,
scholars
dude.
give an example of what they're talking about by showing how time when they were trying to describe her.
Let's just hear you sum
was
all this shit
conceived.
up.
Why does pregnant? That Mary was 12 years old. And since they've agreed that a 12-year-old is too young to consent, and since Islam teaches that this encounter was sexual, Allah and Jibreel blew into Mary's vagina to get her sexually aroused, we have no choice but to conclude that Allah and Jibreel.
I'm going to guess that this is his preference for little girls speaking, but I don't think he knows how vaginas work. That's not how that happens. So I think you can discount whatever the account is of that. You don't... I'm not going to describe the mechanics of why it doesn't work, because that would go against TOS, which makes me very confused as to why he hasn't been banned yet. But that's not how that works. That's not a feature of the female anatomy. Maybe some women enjoy simply being blowed on by two men. I guess. Is it... Now, do you suppose it was like blowing into it like a balloon? Forming a seal and then trying to inflate the woman? Or do you suppose... Or the woman? Or do you suppose that it's more of like standing at a distance and trying to just direct a flow of air towards the vagina? I'm curious as to what he's imagining here.
Are pedophiles who gang raped the 12-year-old Virgin Mary.
Yeah, but my dude, David, you admitted to doing what you're accusing them of in real life. These are imaginary people in an imaginary book, and we don't even know how to verify, or we don't even know if we can verify any of the events that happened in any of these books. And you admitted to doing it in real life to use that as an example because you got exposed, whatever. Like you got exposed, you got angry, and so you are deciding to try and get out ahead of it in TPUSA fashion. And so then you've decided now that instead of trying to deny that it happened, you're going to embrace that it happened and use that as an obscuration of Islam. Holy fuck, dude. The mental gymnastics that you have to do to completely excuse what you've done in order to disprove a religion you don't like, even though your book has all the same shit in it. That is a level of delusion, or I guess dedication, that I will never be able to reach. Holy fuck, dude. David. And the fact that you just look angry all the time just adds to everything. Why do you simultaneously look like you're both tired and angry? I would think those would be like, you know, conflicting emotions.
I don't decide which words we use. I just use them.
Yeah, but you have the legal terms that are applied to you for what you did are grape and pedophile, and PDFA. Sorry, but like you You cannot just excuse away the things you did because of a thing that happened, because even hundreds of things that happened in a book that you don't even know is based in any kind of reality. That's insane.
As directed by our Muslim friends. Putting all of this together, what is Islam? We have Allah, who's a gang rapist and a pedophile, and who's been promoting rape and pedophilia from all eternity.
A supernatural entity that we cannot quantify, but you are very real, sir, and you actually did this to underage girls. You admitted it.
Their words, not mine. Allah has an
Those are the words we use to describe you.
eternal rape manual for pedophiles, the Quran. Their words, not mine. Allah gives this rape manual for pedophiles to Jibreel, who's also a gang rapist and a pedophile. Their words, not mine. Jibreel delivers this rape manual for pedophiles to Muhammad, who, conveniently, is a rapist and a pedophile. Their words, not mine. And Muhammad delivers this rape manual for pedophiles to his followers, who will spend eternity as rapists and pedophiles. Their words, not mine. What is this religion? And what have I said that doesn't follow directly from Muslim sources and from the common terms we've agreed to use? To all
based on your own experience having had sex with underage girls. Hey, Helmet, how's it going? He admitted to having sex with a 13 and a 15-year-old after he had just gotten out of jail for going after, he describes it this way, for going after his dad with a hammer. And he's now using that as his platform to disprove Islam. Or at least to demonize it.
All you Muslim men who are watching, do you really believe that this is from God? Do you really believe that the creator of the universe wants to turn all of you into everlasting pedophiles? Do you really believe that your eternity is going to be wake up, rape, go to sleep, wake up the next day, rape, go to sleep, and so on forever? You seriously think this is from God and not from someone else?
Your book tells you much of the same shit.
Are you kidding me? How are you not leaving Islam? And what does it say about you as a...
But you're a Christian because there's Christians like you. Because you specifically admitted to having sex with underage girls and then you tried to justify it. And then listen to this. Hang on.
And ever. Daniel Hakikachu, the world's leading defender of child... So, if we want to look on the bright side of my open, honest confession of the sins of... It was shameful, immoral, evil, in terms we so desperately needed. As many of you know, in a recent live stream, I began sharing things about my past that no one knew and that no one would have ever heard about had I not shared them. I admit...
I don't know why he feels the need to quantify it before he's saying that, but when you do something like that, it leads me to believe that somebody was going to go public. That's the only reason you would have said something like that.
Admitted publicly that when I was 18 years old, out on bond, after attacking my father with a hammer, I had sex with 2 post-pubescent but underage girls.
It doesn't matter how many times I hear it, it's always so bad. It's always so bad. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Post-pubescent, but underage. Ugh, fuck, man. With this look on his face, that's probably the face he had on when he was doing it.
One was 13 years old and one was 15 years old. It was shameful, immoral, evil. But sometimes something positive can eventually...
I can't hear him say that again. Oh my God.
Actually emerge from something tragic. For instance, the death of a loved one might bring together 2 siblings who had a falling out and haven't spoken to each other for years. The tragedy might make them realize that there are more important things than holding grudges.
But that's not what happened. You raped two little girls, 2 children.
This could lead to reconciliation. So, If we want to look on the bright side of my open, honest confession of the sins of my youth, I think we'll see that whatever short-term friction my confession may have caused, it also provided the perfect opportunity to come to common terms with our Muslim friends.
Yeah, for real, Helmet. That is a good point. And then he says something here that...
Statutory rape, not clickbait. He actually says it. It all makes... Paul Williams of Blogging Theology declares, apologist David Wood confesses he raped girls prior to his conversion. Paul here might have been a bit more forgiving if this had been about boys instead of girls, but he agrees that 13-year-old...
Two wrongs don't make a right, David.
...and 15-year-old females should be called girls, not women, and that sex with them is, by definition, rape. Ijaz Ahmed, you should hear the racial slurs he uses against Hispanic people, writes, David Wood...
And two wrongs don't make a right, David!
Wood admits to being a pedophile and committing 2 acts of statutory rape. Not clickbait. He actually says it. It all makes... Toss out the words should and must, who says, David Wood, Abdullah ibn Masud, girls 13 and 15. So, Junior agrees that a man who has sex with a 13-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl, or, obviously, an even younger girl, should and must be labeled...
That's not an own. That's not an own, David. David, that's not an own. David, that is not how you own people. That's not an own. David, please. David, please. That's not a good argument to make against Islam.
And a predator. Finally, we have one Dawa who says, David Wood is a disgusting pedo. This is the same guy who has been attacking Islam for decades, yet he himself is guilty of what he accuses Islam of. Not quite. There were no 9-year-old girls or prepubescent girls.
Dude, the distinction isn't important. Why are you making one? Megyn Kelly?
In my confession. So, interesting choice of words from the Dawa community. Some of you may be uncomfortable with such strong language, but who are we to question the hikmah of our Muslim friends? We're here to come to common terms. And thanks to some good old-fashioned hard work, we finally have our common terms.
Gross.
According to Team Dawa, any man who has sex with a girl, yes, a girl, not a woman, 15 years old or younger, should be called a pedophile, a pedo, a predator, and a rape question. But even better than his question is Daniel's use of the word pedophile. According to Daniel Hakikachu, any adult man who has Daniel's fellow Muslims agreed met with silence and justification by the Christian community. Silence. Rebecca, in serious legal responsibility, 15 years old or younger, is guilty of rape. Good to know. Jake Brancatella, aka Jake the Muslim metaphysician, writes,
where the fuck is this? He tries to italicize.
So Jake agrees
meaningful.
that 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds should be described as young girls, not as women. And he agrees that any adult who has sex with a young girl is guilty of rape. Paul Williams of
You, David.
Apologist David Wood confesses he raped girls prior to his conversion. Paul here might have been a bit more forgiving if this had been about Ijaz Ahmed.
Where's that
bit?
bit?
It all makes sense now. Hid this from his audience for decades and only revealed it after others threatened to go public. That's strange. No one was going to reveal anything because no one knew about it. Weird how I can hand these guys a confession.
But why would you ever admit to something like that for no reason? Like someone was about to go public, clearly.
To attack me with, deliver it to them on a silver platter, and they still have to lie. But let's ignore that and focus on our common terms. I admitted to having sex with 2 minors. There was nothing forcible about it. But since girls that young can't...
It is forcible. It is forcible. It is forcible. If they're children, it's forcible. They cannot consent, therefore it is force. It is through either force or coercion that you are labeled a rapist by the law. A law that probably didn't exist back then. I mean, I'm sure a law like that didn't exist back then. So you're taking this imaginary book that you cannot prove exists, or that you cannot prove is real or authentic, that gives authentic accounts of history, and you're using your own real life account of how you raped and PDF filed as evidence for why they are bad, and you're wondering why people aren't leaving them to come to your religion. So regardless of how you try to justify it, saying that it wasn't forcible, he even listen. It gets worse. Just keep listening.
There was nothing forcible about it. But since girls that young can't meaningfully consent to sex with an adult.
Did you hear him italicize that? Listen to it again. Listen to it again. He italicizes meaningful.
Meaningfully consent to sex with an adult.
Once more.
Forcible about it. But since girls that young can't meaningfully consent.
Now, just knowing this guy so far from what you've seen, does he sound like the kind of guy who would italicize it to provide a better emphasis on educating people that they cannot give meaningful consent? Or is he italicizing it because he doesn't believe that what he's saying is true? He's saying it through his teeth.
There was nothing forcible about it. But since girls that young can't meaningfully consent to sex with an adult, sex with them, according to Daniel Hakikachu, should be called...
And the law, let's get it right here, and the law, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the law defines it that way too.
Rape. Strong language, but for the sake of solidarity and progress, I accept Daniel's use.
You only have the solidarity because you raped two underage girls. That's the only reason that solidarity, quote unquote, exists. And you're saying that it was a fucking... You're saying that it was a... No. He's saying that they cannot give meaningful consent. Meaning that he's saying that they can still give consent. But in the eyes of the law, it's not meaningful. That's what his point is that even though these girls were totally gung-ho, the law says that they can't consent, so I gotta abide by the law. He even says later on, even though they consented, like even though they were
of what
mutual participants or whatever.
He accuses Islam of the community. Some of you may be uncomfortable with such strong language. Of course, using terms like rape and pedophile and predator in the ways we've agreed upon might be new for some people, especially for Muslims. But as any language expert can relationship with Aisha, then virgins of paradise, with to impregnate Mary, the mother of Jesus, in the Quran. And
no, sorry, I'm trying to find this place where
choice of words from the an even younger girl should we have one dower decades, yet he himself. There were no 9-year-old girls be uncomfortable with such strong language, but who are we to question passion, hard work?
He says something about how they, like, even if they were both willing participants, at some point does he blame the children because of what they were wearing? I might as well. Fuck, man.
But the Prophet married her when she was in the house, with Aisha, 7, and 9 when Muhammad had sex with her. There's no disagreement in the sources on this. Sahih al-Bukhari, mother when she was only 12 in order to beget himself. This is insanely stupid for several reasons. One, why is he saying I was inspired by Jesus when I was an atheist? 2, Mary wasn't...
So what he's saying right now is, what this man is saying in this tweet is invalid because I was an atheist when I graped and PDF filed. He really just said that.
12, according to the Bible. The Bible doesn't say how old she was, but it calls her a woman. This is the same Bible that refers to 12-year-old girls as little girls, not as women.
But marries them off.
Doesn't sound like she was 12. The Dawa guys try to go outside the Bible to later apocryphal sources like the Proto-Evangelion words we use. I just use them as directed by our Muslim friends. Putting all of this together, what is Islam? We have Allah, who's a gang rapist and a pedophile, and who's been promoting rape and pedophilia from all eternity. Their words, not mine. Allah has an eternal rape manual. How are you not leaving Islam? And what does it say about you as a human being if you know this now and you continue to believe it and support it? To all you Muslim women who are watching, according to Islam, if you make it to paradise, and that's a big if considering what Muhammad said about women, if you make it to paradise, you'll be the wives of your earthly husbands forever. But as we've seen, your husbands are going to spend eternity as...
Wouldn't Christian men fucking love that? Pretty sure.
...rapists and pedophiles. Are you okay with that? Will you enjoy paradise as a faithful wife to your husband, knowing that he's raping 100 virgins a day? Do you really believe that this is what the creator of the universe came up with for you?
Do you really think that your reward for eternity will be sitting around while your pedophile husband rapes young girls? Seriously?
Oh my god,
Is this what you want for your children? Do you want your sons to spend eternity as rapists and pedophiles? Do you want your daughters to be the faithful wives of men who spend eternity as rapists and pedophiles? How are you not leaving Islam? And what does it say about you as a human being if you know this now and you continue to believe it and support it and teach it to your kids? Now for you non-Muslims. If you ever think I'm losing control and going off the deep end, trust me, there's always, always, always a reason. Usually more like 5 to 7 reasons. Do you guys...
What? What does that mean?
Have any clue what kind of mad scientist level calculations and maneuvering it takes to get these guys to admit all of this about their fake God, their cheap knockoff angel, their pedophile paradise, and that child molesting, murdering rapist they call a prophet?
You did these things in real life. Those are fake entities, and you did that in reality. You did that in the real world.
It's hard work making them destroy their own religion for us while
You did those things, and then you're using them as an excuse to discredit Islam. That's insane.
we sit back and watch, like Abdullah ibn Masud watching what the men of al-Zut did to Muhammad. So, just let the dizzle do what the dizzle does. You focus on learning some of this.
In a video where he admits to raping a 13 and a 15-year-old. This video where he admits to raping a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. In order to sum up his use of his own pedophilia to discredit Islam, passages in a book we can't even verify actually happened. In the end, when he's summing everything up, he says, "Let the dizzle do what the dizzle does."
Them destroy their own religion for us while we sit back and watch, like Abdullah ibn Masud watching what the men of al-Zut did to Muhammad. So, just let the dizzle do what the dizzle does.
This shows you how little he gives a shit. Which is, again, more proof that most Christians, when they join the religion, it seems like they do it to escape real-life consequences. He can still get sued. I hope he does.
Focus on learning some of this material and sharing it everywhere. And always remember, sometimes it's good to have a psycho on your side.
Not a psycho. A grapist PDF file. Do you think anyone likes you after this? What the fuck? That's insane. That is just insane. Ah, boy. Okay, well. Jesus Christ.
It's 2026. The avalanche of apostasy is accelerating. The Dawa bros are panicking, and when they panic, they get even stupider.
He's mostly just after or anti-Islam, and it seems like he's high on cocaine.
Up here, they get more aggressive, they get more violent, they lash out in all directions. Earlier this month, TikTok jihadis doxed my entire family. They posted my home address, they posted my wife's phone number, and started calling her in the middle of the night.
I hope so. Chris Hansen, he still does those things, so maybe they'll catch him one day.
When I was out of town, they posted the address and phone number of a place she volunteers at. They're saying they're going to Charlie Kirk me. They keep saying they're going to show up at my door, but they're also saying they're going to kill me at DebateCon, which is 2 days away, so they can't make up their minds.
can't someone say that they'll like commit a crime one place and then commit a crime another place too? Like, that's weird.
They've been posting videos with pictures of my wife with gunshot noises, pictures of my kids. My days are supposedly numbered because the pop is coming when I'm in Houston this weekend.
Did he would. Let's see how much longer you're gonna last. Time's...
Yeah, you know, religious extremists are incredibly scary. I think we can leave things on that note. My God, this dude is fucking crazy. I don't know why anyone would admit to the things that he admitted to. Just from an optics point of view, you know, like couldn't you just say like, I did some stuff in my youth that was not super cool, and I'm still paying for my mistakes. I may still pay for them, and I hope to atone every day. You could say something like that, and then I don't think you would have had to have admitted to the words that you just used that describe you. More so than anything fictional. Holy shit, dude. All right. The stream's over. I'm out of here. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. I'm going to be back on Monday, as per usual. Yeah. Helmet, have a good one, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.